text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot. You get all of it. So get your new iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy for $0. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, pound 250, keyword Pure Talk from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
During tax season, your personal info travels to a lot of places you can't control. Between payroll, your home office, your tax preparer, and the IRS, if your W-2 gets exposed, that's just the ticket for identity thieves. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
5:11. Let's get a check on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Want to let folks who travel the Indiana Toll Road know until about noontime today, there is a winter weather ban, but only for semis. Long haulers doing the double or triple trailers, you're prohibited from using the Indiana Toll Road between the Porter-LaPorte County line and the Elkhart East Exchange until about noontime. Lake effect snowfall and winds the cause of that problem. Traffic is a service of Audible. Why not tap into your well-being with Audible audiobooks, podcasts, and originals? Expert insight on better health, relationships, and finance. A 30-day trial is free at audible.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. The latest with AccuWeather's Steve Williams.
It'll be cold start to finish today. Partly sunny. High today at 22. Clear frigid night tonight, low 7. Sunny to partly cloudy, cold tomorrow, the high 26. And then partly to mostly sunny on Saturday, high at 30. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
6 and partly cloudy at O'Hare. 8. A few flurries right now at Midway. 0 in Aurora. 7 in Waukegan. 5 in Romeoville. And 8 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answers starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
Knowledge is power, and you deserve to know what happens in your state government. That's why the Center Square's reporting zeroes in on state authorities publishing stories that show where your money goes and who spends it. The Center Square gives power to the taxpayer by tracking politicians' use of the people's money and demanding transparency from state-run agencies. This is how the Center Square equips you, the American taxpayer, to hold your state government accountable. Sign up now for your state's Center Square newsletter at thecentersquare.com.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hi, it's Scott Tucker, host of Retirement Dakota with Scott Tucker, heard on AM 560 on Sundays at 8 a.m. and again at 5 p.m. I want to offer you a free copy of my latest book, Escape Illinois, Should I Stay or Should I Go? To get your free copy of my latest book, Escape Illinois, Should I Stay or Should I Go? Just go to retirementdakota.com. That's retirementdakota.com. And please listen every Sunday at 8 a.m. and again at 5 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Why do so many companies count on Riverdale Plating and Heat Treating?
consistent high level of quality, an ISO certified and A2LA accredited heat treating, electroplating, fastener sorting, and packaging job shop. Riverdale Plating and Heat Treating meets and exceeds client specifications. Whether a high volume or a small production run, their processes ensure a job well done. Celebrating their 15th anniversary this year, they specialize in metal fasteners and stampings for automotive and other industries. And with a newly expanded sorting department, there are many sorting and packaging options to meet your needs. Riverdale Plating and Heat Treating serves customers in Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin, and Tennessee, with easy access to all forms of transportation from an automated facility in Riverdale, Illinois, just 15 minutes southwest of Chicago. Want consistent quality? Call Riverdale Plating and Heat Treating, 708-849-2050, or visit riverdalePHT.com.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, doctors Economos, Gavalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidiscipline practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930, 630-830-4930, or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. The Budget Committee of the House of Representatives has now passed a budget resolution. It now heads to the House's full floor. Some GOP moderates don't like it. Some fiscal hawks don't like it. It is, however, the sorcerer's stone for the House and Senate Republican caucuses. Failure to pass it would be catastrophic for the country and the party. Anyone voting against it can expect a primary challenge in 2026. It's a time for choosing. The stakes are enormous. The critical parts of that campaign agenda are a huge increase in resources to secure the border, detain illegal immigrants, and deport dangerous migrants. Also on that agenda, an increase in defense spending, especially for the Navy and its ship procurement and maintenance outlays. President Donald Trump has made his priorities very clear. Now it's up to the GOP congressional majorities to carry things through. It begins with the budget resolution. I'm Hugh Hewitt.
Come on with this, people. Move it!
Did you really think you could make that company deliver yourself?
Oh, I cannot handle any more traffic.
You could be getting much more done at your place of business.
I've wasted 45 minutes and now this place is gonna close.
Time is money. Let Quick Delivery Service take on the traffic hassle for you. They'll deliver almost anything, from large pallets of materials to important documents, or both. No forms, no labels, no scanning. Just tell Quick Delivery Service where it's going, they'll pick it up, and get it to your destination quickly. Your cargo delivery is tracked in real time with GPS. Notifications are delivered right to your inbox. Visit QuickDelivery.com. That's QuickDelivery.com. Or you can deliver like this.
Seriously, another train?
Or get your delivery there on time with QuickDelivery.com. Or call 847-534-2244. 847-534-2244.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good Thursday morning. Amy Jacobson here. Charles Thomas, the one and only, is in for Dan Proft today. Good morning, friend. How are you?
Hey, how are you? Long time no see.
I know. I used to compete against you in the mean streets of Chicago when I was at Channel 5 and you were at Channel 7. And I was always watching you to make sure you weren't getting anything that I was trying to get. Or, remember those days, Charles?
I remember those days. It was cutthroat. Those were the good old days, because I really sometimes wonder First of all, I don't recognize any of these people who are on the street, or very few of them. And I look at their work and I'm going, oh my gosh, so much of that grit that you're describing is gone.
It's gone. We
It's
used to be
thoroughly
so
gone.
competitive. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like if you went to the bathroom, I would follow you to the bathroom to make sure that you weren't getting something that I wasn't getting. And our bosses were hard on us. They held us accountable.
Yeah,
If you had something that I didn't have, they would sit me down and say, Charles had this with, this person, such and such. Why didn't you have that person?
I know that and the same thing happened. I would follow you to the bathroom, and that was before woke.
The thing is, too, is these reporters now, they tweet out pictures or Instagram or TikTok pictures of themselves getting ready in a live truck, like puckering their lips at a double homicide. That is so insensitive to the victims' family members. I saw that once. And then one time, V. Nguyen from Channel 5, she interviewed a mother who just lost her son, and she said his former mother will never be the same. And I emailed her saying, never, ever. She is always his mother, always his father, always his friend, not a former mother. Can you believe that is still to me.
I take a little responsibility. She was my intern, V. Nguyen. And
I'm sure she's a lovely person.
She is
but
a
that
lovely person.
Offended me.
She's really good, and I'm sure that was a misstep.
Yeah, and she did email me back, which I really appreciated, and saying that will never happen again. And I thought, you know what, that says a lot about her as a person.
I really miss the news conferences that would happen, and I was driving here this morning thinking about the news conferences and how we would really challenge and go after the powers that be, the mayor. Richard M. Daley during most of my career, actually, here in Chicago, and we were very, we were very aggressive. Now they're very passive. The only person who's really challenging, this is just my limited view of those news conferences, is this guy William Kelly? I mean, he really goes after Mayor Johnson. But he always had credibility issues when I was working. Nobody really paid him that. But he's the only guy now who's out there who's really challenging Mayor Johnson. And I don't always approve of how he does it, but he's the only guy.
Well, I think Craig Wall, and I do think Marianne Ahern definitely.
Oh, definitely Marianne.
She's
goes,
queen
goes
of the court, man. She gets in there. She and I covered the Safety Act together. It was a 2.5-hour press conference. Everybody was there. Everybody got a pen. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those. She and I were the only ones who asked questions.
So you're still going to press conferences?
Yeah, I was, and I'm going to be going back. But yeah, at the time, it was unbelievable. During COVID for 2 years, yeah.
I don't think they wouldn't even let. I don't think they'd let me on the third floor.
Well, you have to have a press pass,
right.
And you can get a press pass if you work for an FCC licensed radio station, or they used to keep out bloggers, and I don't know if they're still doing that. But she's like, well, if you're a blogger or a vlogger, we don't allow you people in. I'm like, you people.
I watch.
That's the future.
I watch the news now as a consumer, as a civilian, as unaffected, and I developed a new appreciation for those people against whom I used to compete.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Mike Flannery.
Oh yeah.
He was working at Channel 2, then of course he switched to Channel 32, and Flannery would be in the press conference. Oh man, he'd ask a question. It would take him 2 minutes to ask the question, and the answer would be yes or no. I remember going, and he used to get on my last nerve. And I remember we went to Africa with Barack Obama when he went back to Kenya. This is before he ran for president. And Mike shows up the first day we're there. He has on a safari jacket and this,
of course he does.
this hat with the animal skin hat band. And I'm going, oh my God, Flannery, get out of here. What the F are you doing? But, Flannery, this guy used to get on my nerves.
Yeah.
But then I started watching the news as a civilian, and I said, wow, Flannery knows what he's talking about.
Yep.
Making the sausage, he was blood and guts all over the floor, but when it got to the plate, man, the guy knew what he was doing. And that show he used to do, Flannery on Fire, on Sunday morning, that became appointment viewing for me. And, Mike, wherever you are, I haven't spoken to him since he retired. But, man, look, you did a great job. You got my respect. And I hope you have a wonderful retirement.
And you want his safari jacket, don't you?
Yeah.
That's what you do. All right. So as reporters, you start off in smaller markets. And what is your story? Like, how did you make it to Chicago, which is market size number 3?
Okay. I went to Mizzou.
Oh, okay.
Which is a pretty good journalism school,
I
think. And then I got my first job at KCMO Radio, which is a 50,000-watt daytimer in Kansas City. And I used to work the midnight. That was country western radio.
Hee-haw.
Yeah. And we did, and I would do the hog reports in the morning.
That's awesome.
This is an absolute true story.
That's awesome.
I mean, it sounds like it's out of a movie or something.
No, it's
but
true. Yeah.
True story. And I had the big fro. This was 1973.
Oh, can you please tweet out a picture?
Oh, man. It was, and I worked there, and then I switched to the TV side a couple of years later. And because they had a AM radio and TV, and worked there for 3 or 4 years, and got a job in San Francisco at KGO.
That's a huge jump.
Well, Kansas City was like maybe the 20-something market, and
Right.
San Francisco was like 5. But a lot of people are doing that today. I noticed that they're ending up in Chicago at age 27, 28. I was 27, 28 years old when I went to San Francisco. Worked there for 5 years. Covered some huge stories there. Because they would sort of put me on an airplane and send me to places like the 3 Mile Island nuclear accident.
Oh my gosh.
I covered the eruption of Mount St. Helens.
Wow.
The Jonestown massacre in Guyana. Just covered a lot of big stories.
Did you go to Jonestown?
No, I did not.
Oh.
I didn't go there, but keep in mind they were based in San Francisco. So
that's right.
I covered a lot that had to do with the church, and knew a lot of the people that basically drank the Kool-Aid.
Oh my gosh.
And then from there, I got fired in San Francisco.
Yeah. Well, they say you haven't made it in the business unless you've been fired 3 times.
Yeah, I got fired.
I don't know why they say that. I don't know who started that. But it's supposed to make you feel better.
Yeah, but I got a job immediately in Philadelphia.
Ooh, how was that?
I love Philly. Philly is Chicago without I don't know.
The people?
It's the same kind of town.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to always call Philadelphia New York City without Manhattan. If you just took Manhattan and dumped it in the ocean, Philly would be left. And great food, great pizza, great hoagies and cheesesteaks. I like food.
Yeah. You're a foodie. I didn't know that about you.
And, but great people.
Yeah.
Great people. In fact, everywhere I've worked, the place has been defined by the people.
Exactly. And they become your family because you don't get to go home for Christmas or for Thanksgiving.
You don't.
Or for weddings sometimes, birthdays, things like that. And it's, it's hard.
You develop friendships with people like yourself who are also looking for home.
Right. And you found home in Chicago, right?
No, I went to ABC News.
Oh, that's right. Network News.
About 5 years in the 80s. And, I did some huge stories there. I worked in Europe. They signed me to Europe for a while. And I covered the Dukakis campaign for president in 1988 against George Bush. I was on the plane with the campaign. We flew from city to city covering Michael Dukakis, who, of course, lost.
Right.
And left. ABC was kind of tough because I had 2 teenagers at home.
Ooh.
And I couldn't do it anymore. In fact, I was based in Chicago and St. Louis. They had the Midwest bureaus, and they transferred me to Los Angeles. And I had 2 kids in high school. So I can't do this. And plus the prices in Los Angeles, I couldn't afford anywhere near the house I had here. So I said, I'm not going to do that. And I had good friends there at the bureau in the building at State and Lake. And they said, hey, come over here and work. No problem. So I did that, and that's how I ended up in Chicago, and that was 35 years ago. Spent most of 26 years on the street working directly for Channel 7. I had been here, of course, 5 previous years working for the network.
Yeah. Such a great job. I lived in 7 different states: Iowa, Cedar Rapids, Tucson. I missed a market. Minnesota, northern Minnesota, Alexandria,
really?
Tucson, Arizona, El Paso, Texas, El Paso to Detroit, which was a big jump at 23, and then Detroit, Chicago.
Really?
But
you worked in that many smaller markets?
Yeah. And then people dropped off along the way. People would say things like, oh, they need an Asian female, or they need a black male, and I'm just never going to make it. And they would drop off, just find other career paths along the way. But I kept going. I'm like, nope, I'm going to keep going. And I would send out tapes constantly. I actually put tapes, remember the 3/4 inch tapes?
Mm-hmm.
I would put those, I filled my back seat of my car with those, and I just drove throughout the Midwest. I went to every single, Green Bay, Milwaukee, every tiny market along the way. I'm still waiting to hear back from Rockford, though. Do you think they're going to call me? It's only been 32 years. Before we go to Mike, let's quickly test our phone system. Let's go to Ron in Oak Park. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hi, Ron.
Yes, good morning. Do either one of you guys remember when Mike Flannery was trying to interview Gus Savage? He was in a hotel room with a lady female companion, and Gus Savage was trying to keep the door closed, and Mike Flannery was trying to push the door open to get an interview with him, and they were pushing back and forth, and it was so hilarious.
Really?
I'll never forget it. Neither one of you guys remember that?
I don't.
Vaguely. I remember. Reporters used to be more aggressive back then.
Yes. You might be able to find it in your archives, but I remember that very clearly. Have a good day. I enjoyed the show.
Yeah,
thanks, Ron, for the phone call.
Flannery was a trip. He was a trip.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, it's worse than we thought. Meet a whistleblower who tells us what they're giving illegals. You're never going to believe it. But now let's head straight into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
5:33, 5 degrees above zero, and the IRS expected to start laying off some 6,000 probationary workers beginning today, all part of the Trump administration's efforts to reduce the federal government workforce. It also comes as multiple reports say Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency is looking to get access to the IRS data system. The remains of 4 dead Israeli hostages have been handed over by Hamas.
The somber day in Israel as the bodies of 4 hostages are returned. The victims include a mother and her 2 very young children, as well as an 84-year-old man who was abducted along with his wife, toddlers Ariel, Bibas, Kafir, and their mother, Cherie, and an 84-year-old journalist and peace activist, Oded Leifshitz. It comes more than 500 days after the horrific attack in Israel on October 7th, 2023. The official identification process of the 4 slain Israelis is expected to take several hours. On Saturday, Hamas is expected to release 6 living hostages.
Again, the hostages include 2 children, ages 4 and 9 months. Federal judge continues to weigh whether to dismiss corruption charges against embattled New York City Mayor Eric Adams. The judge, Daniel Ho, summoned Adams and federal prosecutors to court Wednesday. California this morning, poised to become the first state to officially recognize a cryptid, a mysterious creature with little evidence of existence. Assemblyman Chris Rogers is introducing a bill to make Bigfoot, or Sasquatch, the state's official cryptid. Charges have been filed here against a Hyde Park man in the stabbing of 2 staff members at Providence Hospital earlier this week. Chicago's default speed limit will remain at 30 miles an hour. It comes after the City Council Wednesday voted down a proposal to lower the speed limit to 25 miles an hour. City Council also delayed an $830 million borrowing plan favored by Mayor Brandon Johnson, but not by a majority of aldermen and women led by Bill Conway.
But the proposed debt structure is fiscal insanity and not normal. No payments until 2027, followed by 18 years of interest-only payments.
Alderman Pat Dowell, a Johnson ally, tried to rally support for what she tried to describe as a simple bond issue.
This bond issuance is standard and necessary. We have a duty to the residents of our city to provide them with the safe, accessible, and vital infrastructure that makes Chicago what it is.
Governor J.B. Pritzker unveiling his $55.2 billion spending plan, the largest in state history. In a statement, State Representative John Cabello, a Republican from the Rockford area, says Illinois has a governor who's more interested in running for president and repackaging failures as successes than fixing the problems facing Illinois' exploited residents. A pair of former Cook County prosecutors are acquitted of wrongdoing in a wrongful conviction case. Judge Daniel Shanes found that Nicholas Trutenko and Andrew Horvat were not guilty Wednesday after a bench trial. The indictment focused on a 2020 trial for Jackie Wilson, recently exonerated in the shooting deaths of 2 Chicago police officers. Bulls back in action tonight, visiting the Knicks at MSG. Cubs open up spring training exhibition play against the LA Dodgers at Camelback Ranch. College hoops last night, DePaul destroyed by number 9 St. John's, 82-58. The news, a service of Del Bacchio Marchetti Group of At Properties at Christie's International Real Estate, experts in the northwest suburbs and Chicago, 708-828-0000. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The first weeks of the new Trump administration have been full speed ahead, making America great again.
It's going to only get better.
And on Tuesday, March 4th, President Trump will take a victory lap when he addresses Congress and the nation. And AM 560 is throwing a watch party.
They tell me it's very exciting.
Join us for dinner and President Trump's speech on March 4th in Rolling Meadows. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/watch. That's 560theanswer.com/watch. Sponsored in part by Fox Valley Coins.
For over 23 years, Applied Mechanical Sales has offered boilers, water heaters, and exhaust venting to commercial mechanical contractors. They aid in the selection of standard and high-efficiency hydronic system equipment for replacement or new construction. From schools to churches to high-rises and hotels, Applied Mechanical provides high-quality, cost-effective Camus boilers and water heaters in many of Chicago's most iconic buildings. Mechanical design firms trust Applied Mechanical to support them by specifying the size and type of boiler to best match a building's load profile for the worst of Chicago weather conditions. Engineers and contractors can be confident that they'll experience trouble-free operation for the next 15 to 20 years. Applied Mechanical Sales ensures their boilers are properly installed and operate at peak efficiency long after the initial startup. Go to appliedmechanicalsales.com to schedule a site visit and boiler replacement assessment. That's appliedmechanicalsales.com.
You never want to miss one of life's most important moments. A graduation, a birthday, a first communion, a wedding. When these moments happen, you want to make sure to capture them so that you and your loved ones can remember them for years to come. For over 30 years, families have relied on Tom Kaloran Photography to capture important life moments. This locally owned family business can provide the solutions you need for your important event photography, from weddings and birthdays to class reunions and golf outings. No matter the size or scope, Tom Kaloran Photography will make sure you have lasting memories to share for years to come. Tom Kaloran Photography is also the official photographer for AM 560 The Answer. To learn more and to see their portfolio, just visit visit KilloranPhotography.com. That's KILLORAN photography.com. Or call them at 708-361-0025. Tom Killoran Photography, capturing important life moments for over 30 years.
Come on with this, people. Move it!
Did you really think you could make that company deliver yourself?
Oh, I cannot handle any more traffic.
You could be getting much more done at your place of business.
I've wasted 45 minutes and now this place is gonna close.
Time is money. Let Quick Delivery Service take on the traffic hassle for you. They'll deliver almost anything, from large pallets of materials to important documents, or both. No forms, no labels, no scanning. Just tell Quick Delivery Service where it's going, they'll pick it up, and get it to your destination quickly. Your cargo delivery is tracked in real time with GPS. Notifications are delivered right to your inbox. Visit QuickDelivery.com. That's QuickDelivery.com. Or you can deliver like this.
Seriously, another train?
Or get your delivery there on time with QuickDelivery.com. Or call 847-534-2244. 847-534-2244.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
541. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of almostfreeteeth.com. What if you could save an average of 90% for dental implants with a Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO or FEP? It's possible. Check if you qualify, almostfreeteeth.com. We are checking out North Barrington this morning. Route 59 entirely shut down north and southbound again today between Scott Road and Route 22, all due to incredibly icy conditions along that stretch of road. Old Barrington Road is your alternate for that area. West Side Austin neighborhood, Cicero shut down north and southbound between Jackson and Madison, all due to a police investigation and pursuit that ended with shots fired this morning there. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Partly sunny, very cold, high 22. Clear and cold, 7 overnight. Sunny, a bit of a warm-up tomorrow, high 26. Partly cloudy, 6 above at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
All right, good Thursday morning. Amy Jacobson here. Charles Thomas in for Dan Proft. Good morning, friend. Glad you're here. We were talking about, since you and I were both in news media, news reporters, journalists on the streets. I want you to hear this. This is nightly news last night. Lester Holt, our good friend, what is missing from this report?
We are learning more about the case against 7 men accused of breaking in the homes of well-known athletes. As Liz Kreutz reports, authorities say a single crime group from South America is at the center of it all.
Tonight, federal prosecutors announcing charges against 7 people allegedly behind the rash of several high-profile home burglaries targeting pro athletes, including Kansas City Chiefs stars Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. Authorities say the alleged burglars are all from Chile and part of what officials describe as a South American theft gang. They say they broke into at least
Charles,
60.
not to put you on the spot, but what key element is missing from that report, from the anchor introducing the package to the reporter reporting on the story?
Well, they haven't clarified the origin of these people. Are they migrants? How did they get here?
You're getting closer. They're illegals.
Well, yeah.
They're from a Chilean, yeah.
We would find that out, but first they have to establish why. Who are these people from South America?
Chilean crime ring, and they have been targeting people, rich people who, it's not just football players, it's some Milwaukee Bucks players. They've been traveling the country knowing when, getting their schedules, their basketball or football schedules, and robbing them while they're at their games.
Particularly when they're on the road.
Yeah.
Now check it out. Where are the editors, Amy?
Right.
Where are they? I mean, we used to have morning meetings at Channel 7, and man, we would have back and forth. We'd get into it, and we'd ask that question. Where are the questions? Are the editors that bought into this?
Yeah, they don't want to tell the truth. The truth is that these 7 came here illegally, crossed over through the Texas border, and have been robbing hardworking Americans. Yes, they're elite athletes, but that doesn't mean that they don't work hard. Right. And that means when they go to their job, they want to make sure that their house is still secure. But yeah, these guys were clever, and they've. I mean, it goes on and on the list of things that they stole from people, which leads us to our next topic: a whistleblower. She's a Missouri whistleblower. She worked at a refugee resettlement program in Missouri. Get this, they were incentivized to qualify illegals for long-term disability.
They instructed us to try to get the client, because once they arrive here, they're now called clients.
They're called clients.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because clients pay.
Sure.
See?
Sure. I'm starting to see where this is leading.
So they told us that we needed to talk to the client and ask them if they'd had any headaches, recurring headaches, or any lower back problems. Excuse me, anything that would qualify them for Social Security long-term disability.
Social Security long-term disability for a headache. 312-642, excuse me, 5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You could also text us on that same long line. But to get long-term Social Security benefits, guess what you need, Charles? You need a Social Security number.
Yeah. After we processed them for a Social Security card, then we were to process them for a U.S. passport.
No, you're not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's about the time I kind of decided, okay, I was done. I've heard everything I want to know. I was so angry about this, that they would receive a U.S. passport. It just... I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that we were giving these people Social Security cards and U.S. passports and free medical, free housing, free food, free everything.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Does this surprise anybody? I mean, and then the next question the podcaster asked her, do bureaucrats know that this is happening?
A lot of governors are unaware of how many refugees have come into their state, where they're located, under what conditions they've arrived. And I believe this is intentional. Now, we do know that the governor of Texas and the governor of Tennessee have both stopped this, and they're refusing to take any more refugees. In fact, the federal government has filed a lawsuit against both of those states because they're refusing to take any more refugees.
How dare you keep your people safe?
I mean, talk about putting Americans last.
And the federal government is supporting all this by filing lawsuits to support their being here.
Elon Musk was correct. He texted out or X'd it out the other day. The real reason so many Democrats are upset about entitlements, all these fraud investigations into Social Security, Medicaid, is that they're using your tax money as handouts to attract and retain illegal immigrants, their future voters. That's what it's all about. Let's go to the phone lines, 312-642-5600. Amish Texter calling in on the string and tin can line. How are you?
Good morning. I'm okay, and it's good to hear Charles. Charles, I want to see that fro, bro.
Oh, man, I got nothing left. I'll have to go get a man unit. These days.
Just post a picture like Amy said.
Okay.
And you don't post enough. But anyhow, okay, hearing that story yesterday before Amy contacted me, I mean, I was just enraged because people don't understand. First of all, Illinois is dead last among 50 states plus D.C. for taking care of the disabled. Yes, think about that. Washington, D.C. and Mississippi take care of their disabled residents better than the great state of Illinois. But anyhow, I have 2 adult disabled children. I finally got help for my son, which Amy has met, did plunge or Special Olympics.
Yes, he's a wonderful man.
Thank you.
You did a good job, Dad.
Yeah, it took 9.5 years on the state waiting list of, let's see, I think it was 23,000 people awaiting aid, and 18 months on the crisis immediate need. And when I called IDHS, the bureaucrat there says, "Oh, I find that hard to believe. Send me all the info." Of course, I sent it, and I faxed it, and I emailed it, and I called, and in fact, I ever got a phone call back? No. But anyhow, so at the same time I applied for aid for my developmentally disabled son, who is so disabled that they had no choice but to give him aid. I applied for my daughter, and she's been hospitalized 15 times. She's got bipolar anxiety disorder, PTSD. She's Asperger's autism spectrum disorder. And she also developed rheumatoid arthritis, and she has asthma, and she has endometriosis, and irregular bleeding, and some other things I'm not going to go into as far as disabilities. And the state even says, okay, send her to our doctor. And I went to Elgin, had to take time off work, of course, to do all this, plus her 5 specialists that she goes to. And the doctor says, oh, you should qualify for, SSI of a measly $714 a month on your rheumatoid arthritis alone. And she's been turned down 6 times, I think is the count, over the last 7 years, the same time that I applied.
So how does it make you feel when you see that these illegals, they're on a plane coming here, and by the way, they're calling them clients now, not illegals.
Yeah,
and,
well, no one cares
and
about
trying
my
to drum
client.
up some illness for them, like so you have chronic headaches or you have migraines.
Yeah, right. Well, it makes me enraged, and not so much at the illegals, but Biden, who invited them here. And I don't know if you guys remember the photos of the illegals in the caravan arriving with his shirt on, saying Biden let us in. Who printed those shirts? What NGO? What our tax dollars went to through like USAID to print those T-shirts that they were wearing. I made a meme of it, and I tweeted out when people are stupid. But yeah, I'm enraged at the politicians, specifically the Democrat Party.
Isn't there an early Doge observation, conclusion, whatever, that there are more Social Security numbers than there are U.S. citizens?
Right, but they're using a system from the 1960s right now, so they need to go in and change the system before we can have a complete total. But from the outset, looking at it, yes, there's more people on Social Security right now than there are living in this country. Let's go to Larry in Elmhurst. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Hey, 2022, I had COVID. I was in the hospital for 17 days. I almost died, but when I got out, I was on long-term disability, which turned into short-term because I got better real quick. But Metropolitan Life, they must have tried 10 times talking me into going on permanent disability. This woman was telling me everything that I could get, and I'm like, lady, I'm going back to work. She's going, wait, I can get you this, food, everything else. And then from what I heard was they get bonuses for every person that they put on disability.
Yeah. No, I'm sure there's a kickback. They're being incentivized, that's for sure.
It was for the COVID, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Larry, I'm glad you survived COVID. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Good for you. Because it was a thing. But I'll tell you, my niece, she's autistic, and they've been trying to get her on long-term disability, and it's impossible. But yet people that are coming into this country illegally, who we invited here, I shouldn't say, they're not sneaking in, as Dan always says, we invited them here. They're getting long-term Social Security benefits. But also, too, there's a risk, a safety risk, and this whistleblower went on to talk about that.
When they come in, we're urged to compatriate them with fellow refugees, those who have come in before them. We are urged to locate other communities of refugees from the same country of origin, the same language, the same culture as those who are arriving. And so when they come in, and we have had Syrians come in, and we know Syrians are on the list of those 7 countries that have been banned. And so we've received Syrians here in Missouri.
Even after the ban?
Yes.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Let's go to Mark in Belgium, Wisconsin. Good morning.
Good morning, Amy and Charles. First-time caller. Love listening to you guys. Yeah, my wife just last year got denied disability, and she's had MS for over 10 years. And it took over a year from her initial application for it till they finally told her to go to 2 different doctors for like a mental test and a physical test. And the last one, they wanted us to drive over 2 hours down to Kenosha for a vision test. And when she said, well, can't we just go, because we were going 15 minutes away, and when she told them, well, you know, is there something closer? She doesn't drive anymore either. Within a week, they denied her claim. So, and the sad part about the story is she has an older sister that had MS and struggled with it for over 10 years and died at 52. And it's just maddening, you know, when we've been told that it usually takes maybe at least 3 times to apply for it. And it's just frustrating that these people, you know, come into the country and are given that right off the bat.
Oh, yeah. And it's, I mean, they're given the golden ticket, too, it's a U.S. passport, and they're set for life if they're on long-term Social Security disability. It's just maddening.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark, for the phone call. Quickly, let's go to George in Naperville. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Amy and Charles. Yeah, maybe those illegals that were breaking into those athletes' homes were part of an elite thievery team looking for a better life.
Yeah, right.
Well, better.
Right, thanks, George, for the phone call.
Victims.
Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Listen to podcast of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
If you own or run a business and you listen to AM 560, you might not realize that the conservative programming that you enjoy is supported by advertisers. Our loyal listeners love to do business with the advertisers they hear every day on AM 560. Now, it probably won't surprise you that there are some businesses who avoid advertising with us because they don't like what we do here. And that's okay, because our audience wants to support businesses that support what we do and think like we think. We would love to have you join the list of successful companies who are already reaching new, like-minded customers. Most AM 560 advertisers have been here for years for one simple reason: they get results. Join our efforts to make a difference in the lives of our listeners who are passionate about supporting our great family of AM 560 advertisers. To learn more, just visit 560theanswer.com/advertise. That's 560theanswer.com/advertise.
Jeff Tischlar, author of High Tech versus the Highest Tech, has shared his knowledge of the spectacular things that we see in nature as opposed to what man has created, and how this should inform one's faith. Jeff served on the mission field all over the world and has created this highly illustrated and concisely written technical book. The easy-to-read format is understood from the youngest reader to the most intelligent and mature readers. Google and Amazon book reviews include, "This is the best little book I have ever read. It is amazing how much information is in this book." And a beautifully written and illustrated book. The author has a gift for describing complicated technical details in a very understandable style. This book is available now in paperback on Amazon. Search High Tech versus the Highest Tech by Jeff Tischlar. 100% of proceeds go to missions. That's High Tech vs. the Highest Tech by Jeff Tischlar.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, why are the Democrats such a disaster? They need a new media message, a left-wing Joe Rogan, so to speak. And then later, Charles, this question is for you. Do women really send men flowers? We'll discuss. But now let's head into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
An update. A man charged in the stabbing of 2 Chicago hospital employees. Chicago City Council says no thanks to lowering the speed limit in the city. A student has been charged with bringing a gun to a suburban junior high school. The governor criticized President Trump, calling them Illinois Nazis. Central Illinois schools implementing a cell phone ban in classrooms. Bulls visiting the Knicks. Cubs go against the Dodgers. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Hamas hands over more hostages. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. And there were cheers in the crowd in Gaza as Hamas handed over to the Red Cross 4 coffins to be given to Israel containing the bodies of hostages the militants claim were killed in Israeli airstrikes, including a mother and her 2 young children.
It comes more than 500 days after the horrific attack in Israel on October 7th, 2023. The official identification process of the 4 slain Israelis is expected to take several hours. On Saturday, Hamas is expected to release 6 living hostages.
That's Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer. President Trump may meet with Russia's leader Vladimir Putin later this month, days after U.S. talks with Russia to end the war in Ukraine that Ukraine was not invited to. President Volodymyr Zelensky objected to that. President Trump calls him a dictator.
He refuses to have elections, is low in the real Ukrainian polls. I mean, how can you be high with every city is being demolished? It's hard to be high. Somebody said, oh, no, his polls are good. Give me a break.
And though Russia invaded Ukraine, the president has suggested, like Putin, that Ukraine started it. Zelensky says President Trump is living in a Russian disinformation space. The FBI may get a new director today. The Senate expected to confirm Kash Patel, who Democrats oppose, but Republicans can outvote them. And in the Trump administration push to slash federal spending considered waste, fraud, or abuse, the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Scott Turner, just told Fox.
And we will cut $4 million in DEI-focused contracts. This is money that should go to serve the American people.
And more layoffs are coming, targeting probationary federal employees recently hired. Multiple reports have the IRS ready to cut 6,000 jobs. And Fox's Brooke Singman reports
President Trump is on board with the idea of sending out dividend checks to taxpayers using the money DOJ has saved.
By going after the waste, fraud, and abuse and all of the other things that are happening, I think it's a great idea.
One idea is to send $5,000 checks to us. America's listening to Fox News.
5 degrees at 6:02 here in Chicago. On AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago's default speed limit will remain at 30 miles per hour. It comes after the city council roundly voted down a proposal to lower the speed limit to 25.
We know from every other city that has done this, we'll see fewer crashes, fewer serious injuries, and fewer deaths.
Alderman Daniel Laspada argued in favor. The city council also delayed the mayor's $830 million borrowing plan. A majority of aldermen and women, led by Bill Conway, delayed the implementation of the borrowing plan.
But the proposed debt structure is fiscal insanity and not normal. No payments until 2027, followed by 18 years of interest-only payments.
Governor J.B. Pritzker unveiling his $55.2 billion spending plan in his State of the State address. Pritzker's plan, he says, will save Illinois more than $400 million by eliminating a health care program for adults without legal immigration status. Meantime, Pritzker took shots at President Trump and Illinois Republicans. Here's our Springfield bureau chief, Greg Bishop, with the very latest.
The last part of Pritzker's speech Wednesday included references to Nazis 6 times as he discussed the election of Trump to the White House.
If you think I'm overreacting and sounding the alarm too soon, consider this. It took the Nazis 1 month, 3 weeks, 2 days, 8 hours, and 40 minutes to dismantle a constitutional republic.
After the speech, Republican State Representative Brad Halbrook said such rhetoric is not fit for airing in the General Assembly.
That rhetoric is out of place and need not to be talked and spoken in the General Assembly. It was completely wrong.
Pritzker later said he did not call more than half the voting public Nazis for supporting Trump and was putting out a warning for what he fears could be coming down the pike. In Springfield at the Capitol, I'm Greg Bishop.
The Olive Harvey Community College women's basketball team is making just a little bit of history. They're undefeated with a dominant 28-0 conference and overall record. With just 2 games left in the season, the Lady Panthers have yet to crack the JUCO Division I top 25 ranking.
We've had a lot of players that have dealt with death this year. And just having extended family that they could rely on and that can pick them up when they're down, that really transitioned onto the court.
Olive Harvey coach Jeff Dillard, who used to be at Simeon High School, and 28-0. It's not bad. Bulls are back in action tonight, taking on the Knicks professionally at MSG. Cubs open up spring training with a game against the Dodgers at Camelback Ranch. 6:05 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk sees the left scrambling to keep up.
Where is La Resistance? Axios, which is a mainstream media regime operation, has published an article claiming that worn-out whiners are whining so much about not being able to keep up with President Trump's shock and awe and rapid-fire policy.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Hugh Hewitt at 3 on AM 560. The Answer. Sign up for the AM 560 Answer Advantage to get early alerts on event ticket sales, special discounts, and contest opportunities. Sign up today at 560theanswer.com/advantage.
Hi, this is Carl Amari.
I'm Lisa Wolf. Join us every Saturday night beginning at 8 p.m. for all things entertainment on Hollywood 360.
If you love classic radio shows, The Shadow, Jack Benny, The Lone Ranger, Dragnet, Gunsmoke, and many more, we have them for you on Hollywood 360.
We'll also present trivia contests with prizes, showbiz news, celebrity interviews, games, and movie reviews.
So don't miss Hollywood 360 every Saturday night beginning at 8 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
President Trump is moving at lightning speed.
And after that, all hell is going to break out.
Executive orders, new policies, promises kept. It's hard to keep up until now. Subscribe to the Trump Report. This email brings you daily highlights from the Oval Office right to your inbox 5 days a week.
I will put America first.
It'll help you follow President Trump at the speed of Trump.
It's time to throw out your overpriced big wireless contract. Throw it overboard. You can get an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0 with a qualifying plan of just $45 a month. Get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot. You get all of it. So get your new iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy for $0. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, pound 250, keyword Pure Talk from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
In 2012, the Journal of Cognition and Emotion published a study that showed that we make a decision to trust a person within 100 milliseconds of seeing their face. Making a good first impression has never been more important, and you can make that positive impression with a professional headshot from Tom Killoran Photography. Whether you're a job seeker trying to land your next position, or you're looking to build your business by connecting with prospective clients and customers, you need a high-quality headshot to use with your resume, portfolio, website, or other marketing materials. The experts at Tom Killoran Photography can work with you to capture the exact look you need for your professional presentation. Tom Killoran Photography is also the official photographer for AM 560 The Answer. To learn more and to see a sample of their work, just visit KilloranPhotography.com. That's KILLORAN Photography.com, or call them at 708-361-0025. Tom Killoran Photography, capturing important life moments for over 30 years.
6:09, let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. This update is service of the Chicago Wolves. Join the Chicago Wolves for Faith and Fellowship Saturday night at 7 against the Iowa Wild. Stay for postgame as Wolves forward Josiah Slavin shares stories about his faith. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. Inbound Ike, accident left shoulder between Laramie and Cicero. Inbound Dan Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th into the Burn Circle interchange. And there is a winter weather ban for long double or triple trailers on the Indiana Toll Road until noon today from the Porter-LaPorte County line to the Elkhart East interchange on the Indiana Toll Road. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Here's AccuWeather's Steve Williams.
Partly sunny, very cold day today. The high at 22. Clear, frigid night tonight, low 7. Sunny to partly cloudy, cold tomorrow. The high at 26. And then partly to mostly sunny on Saturday. High Saturday at 30. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
6 degrees above at O'Hare. 8 degrees above at Midway. And your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good Thursday morning. Welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer. Amy Jacobson here, and I'm honored to be hosting, I think, for our very first time, partner with Charles Thomas.
Yeah, this is the first time that you and I have done any kind of broadcast together. And I guess we've been in the biz a long time.
Decades. Well, Democrats, did you used to be a Democrat? Because I used to be one.
Yeah, man, I was a Democrat. I voted Democrat 99% of the time. My father was my father, very interesting, in the 1930s, as an African-American, was one of the first to go Democrat. He voted for Franklin Delano Roosevelt because of the New Deal, even though the worst racists on the planet were Democrats at the time. But he took the plunge, and he voted for Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who was a Democrat. Of course, he was from New York, but keep in mind the Democrat Party in the 30s was dominated by these hardcore racists, Klansmen in the South. And my father took the plunge and voted Democrat in the 30s.
Wow.
And, Did
he die a Democrat?
Died a Democrat, told me I better vote Democrat. As I was growing up, and I did. I voted 99% of the time for Democrats, and that 1% I was probably voting for a Green Party candidate. Never voted for a Republican. Never did. And covering politics for as long as I did, I got to meet people on both sides of the aisle, and I found out that Republicans did not have tails, that they were just like everybody else, really.
Uh-huh.
But I can't say. But Amy, I'm not a Republican. Certainly not an Illinois Republican. Oh no, I'm not a Republican. I would say I'm probably, Joe Biden used to talk about MAGA Republicans all the time. I'm probably more MAGA than I am Republican at this point.
But isn't MAGA Republican?
No. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I mean, you got a lot of people who were Democrats who voted for Barack Obama, who are now solidly behind Donald Trump because of not only political issues but also cultural issues, and they just can't get with the Democrat Party. And the thing about I'm an African American, a black man, right? And I determined that Black people are damaged. We were damaged by slavery and Jim Crow and all those years and all that stuff that went on a long time ago. And the Democrats have found a way to push a button to call up that generational curse and use it to get black people to vote 95% for Democrats, and Democrats don't do anything for black people, but they respond emotionally to the Democrat Party's focus on race, and it's worked for them. It didn't work as well this last time around, particularly with black men like myself, who basically see the light. We see through what the Democrat Party is doing. And the Democrat Party hires all of these black gatekeepers, these elected officials, to sit there and just drive home that racism message, when in fact racism is not the issue. The issue to me is class. I mean, I spend a lot of time at least driving through Northwest Indiana, and I can tell you that in a place like LaPorte County, Indiana, the problems that black people on the west side of Chicago are facing are the same problems that people live in the exurban areas, say of LaPorte County, Indiana, are the same.
And what are those problems?
Education. We've lost control of our schools. They've lost control of their schools in that part of the area. They got the federal government telling them what they have to do in their schools, that they have to teach, transgenderism and all of these other things in their schools. And I'm talking about, white people now in those areas. They've also lost control of their economy. Their small businesses have disappeared, because, the big companies, Walmart and Fleet and Farm and Tractor Supply, all those companies have moved in, and the small businesses are gone, just as they're gone on the south and west sides of Chicago. And last but not least, the whole drug problem. The drugs that have ravaged the south and west sides of Chicago for so many decades are now ravaging the poor, white, rural areas. A lot of people ask me, I think it was 2-3 years ago, why I supported Darren Bailey for governor. Darren Bailey's a farmer from Southern Illinois. He sees the same problems there that are happening on the west and south sides of Chicago. It's not a matter of race. The Democrats try to divide poor black people from poor white people. They're doing that, and they've done it successfully for so many years. Trumpism, MAGA, whatever you want to call it, is bringing those people together again. Slowly but surely, black folks are coming around, and they're seeing the truth here. This open border situation? Who's being hurt by that? The people who are competing on the bottom for housing, for jobs, on the bottom. The techies at the top, the people in Lincoln Park, they have no problem with open borders.
Well, they just look the other way, especially when they were invading our police departments. I mean, every single district in Chicago had people sleeping outside or inside. It was a disgrace.
It was a disgrace.
I sent my friend that video, and she used to live in Chicago. She lives in Europe. I sent her this, and she goes, "Are you living in a third world country?" And it was a disgrace. We had Alderman Lopez on, who said they give cars that are unclaimed at the pound to illegals.
Are you kidding?
No.
Really?
I would like a second car. I mean, I'm sure my sons, when they come home from college, would like a second car to start looking for a summer job.
No,
it's sickening that they put them first.
It's amazing, but people, but again, going. The elites, when we talk about the elites, we're not necessarily talking about billionaires. I mean, we're talking about your basic white liberal living in Lincoln Park, Andersonville, Roscoe Village, living a good life, making 150, 200 grand a year. A migrant coming here might mean they get to save some money on a housekeeper. To them, that's what it is. That if they want to repair their condo or do some plumbing, they hire a migrant, and the migrant does it for a fourth of the price that a union plumber would. What I'm saying again is we have so much in common as Americans who already live here, and the Democrats are trying to exploit the differences. They want to talk about the differences in the gender and race and sexual orientation. That's what they're playing on when they do these identity politics. And you just got to see through it.
Well, and now, I don't know if you've seen this, but the Democrats are such a disaster that they're a party of off-key clowns singing anti-Doge protest songs. Which one do you like better, Charles?
I love it.
Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward.
Okay, do you like that one or this one better? Ready?
Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on?
And they all look like they smell like hemp.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
I
Your
like
side.
Fight against George. We'll fight Elon Musk. No Elon's kept within our walls. We'll fight from dawn to dusk.
All right, song number one or song number two?
I like the minor key in song number two. You know, it has sort of that gospel side to it. I like that. You know?
Yeah. So the Democrats' congressional approval rating, the lowest of all time right now, 20%.
20%. I saw that.
Yeah. So they're still looking for a leader, and they put up, Stephen A. Smith.
Oh.
Okay. He's right under Tim Walz, and he went off on them yesterday, really strong and hard, about how they suck right now, the Democratic Party.
If you're the Democrats, that's why Stephen A. Smith is in the news. Because y'all don't have anybody. You don't have anybody. Who you got? Who you got? Kamala Harris better not run. She better not run. I'm not in the news because I'm here. I'm in the news because the Democratic Party is here. Damn it, lower than that. Down at the bottom. They suck right now. Horrible. Because they don't have a voice. Where the hell is the voice?
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Because, there's going to be an open primary in 2028.
Okay.
And he said, don't put me on that list. I'm not running for president, you idiots. You don't have a bench. You're so stupid, and you're putting me out there as a black man? I don't want to run.
Yeah, no, but I tell you, I can't handle being shouted at so much. He does
I know.
a lot of shouting at people, but they've talked. But they've talked about him as a possibility. That shows you how completely lost they are. That they would think that Stephen A. Smith would be a possibility. I think they did an internal poll. I saw one that said he had 2% support.
Yeah. And he's saying, please stop. He's tied with Tim Walz. Ken, a white man, Ken Martin, is head of the DNC now. Have you met Ken Martin? Do you know who he is?
I
white pasty dude.
Found out about it when he was elected president.
Yeah, so here's his
DNC
message.
chairman.
Yeah.
We need to get the DNC out of D.C., out of the Beltway, reconnecting our message back with voters. That's job number one, right? So many parts of our coalition left us this last election cycle, right? We know that, from Latino voters to working class households to young voters to women. You can go down the list. The only two groups that we overperformed with in the last election cycle were wealthy households and college-educated voters. That's a damning indictment on the Democratic Party. We got to do a better job.
So the Democrats need a new media message, and they really need a left-wing Joe Rogan. But Joe Rogan used to be a Democrat, and he switched over to the Republican Party. So I don't see a clear leader. Where's Barack Obama right now?
Where is Barack Obama? In fact, where's Kamala, for that matter? I mean, Kamala's keeping a pretty low profile. I mean, Barack, he's a lot of, the rumors that circulate about Barack and Michelle and all that, and she didn't show up for the inauguration or
Jimmy Carter's funeral.
I mean, that's almost symbolic of what's happening to the party. They can't get it together. You can't even get your wife to accompany you to a major event, and then they've got this problem. They got this problem on the South Side, and we talked about this before. With this Barack Obama library or presidential center.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it concrete cracking?
Concrete's cracking, but there's a lawsuit where one of the black DEI contractors is suing one of the other, I guess the contractor, the majority contractor that hired him, and the place is like $500 million over budget, and will conceivably, when it started, it was like $350 million. That was when it was conceived. Now it's up. They they're predicting now it could be over $1 billion to build the library out there, and they put the dampers on that story, and the local media is letting them do it.
I know.
They're letting them get away with it, and the lawsuit was filed last summer, but apparently nobody reported it because they didn't want to hurt Kamala's chances. That's what I'm hearing. That's the motivation, but it's beginning to leak out. I think Newsweek did a piece about it being over budget and the lawsuit and such, and it's just a train wreck. It's a total train wreck, and of course we see every day how they're criticizing Doge, like for what? They're saving
people
money.
wanted reform, so Doge, keep going, Doge. $55 billion and counting that they're saving. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Let's go to Mike in Hammond. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Amy, thanks for taking my call. You guys had Stephen A. Smith on there ranting and screaming. He's part of the problem. I mean, he's screaming how bad the Democratic Party is, and then he openly said, I voted for Kamala. He votes for the nonsense. So he's part of the problem of the Democratic Party. The election was closer than people think. How many idiots do we have in this country? I'm serious. How many idiots?
Well, you'll see, because if she runs for governor of California and wins, I mean, and I even told my friends that live out there, I said, I have a friend that, well, let's just say with people that have money, I'm like, with money comes power and influence. So find a Republican candidate. Create one. I mean, find a Hollywood star, find a Ronald Reagan. But I don't know who that would be. Would it be Dennis Quaid? Would it be Dean Cain? I mean, who do you think, Charles, would be good to be a Republican governor of California?
Man. You mean from the Hollywood crowd?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a good one. I would. I really would have no idea.
I know.
And the state is so dominated now by Democrats. And those Democrats, those California Democrats, are dominating the party nationwide. There's this competition between the California Democrats and the New York Democrats. And the California Democrats have prevailed over these past few years. I'm talking Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff, Kamala, Greasy Newsom, and all those people. I mean, they're dominating the party. But I think the party's got to come from the middle. The Democrat Party, it's got to come from the middle. They've got this guy in Kentucky, Beshears, who's sort of a centrist. At least he claims to be. He won in Kentucky. I mean,
yeah, but I don't think they're going to put up a woman, because they've tried that twice now and it's failed.
I don't think they'll do that. I mean, the Republicans have many, many more female possibilities for their ticket in 28 than the Democrats. I mean,
you're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Charles Thomas and for Dan Proft.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Enjoy uninterrupted programming from Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson around the clock, all day, every day, including daily replays of Chicago's Morning Answer on Dan and Amy 24/7. Listen now at danandamy247.com.
MyPillow is excited to announce that they're having the first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 30% on their brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one Mike has worn every day for 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get the 2025 6-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. The initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And the best-selling standard MyPillow, just $14.98. To take advantage of the first ever mega sale, go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship has sailed because right now every order ships absolutely free. MyPillow.com, promo code LIBERTY.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Scott Bartmus, co-founder of ESCO, a security and fire alarm services business, and a customer of Signature Bank. We work hard to give our customers peace of mind, so it's nice to know that while we have our customers' backs, partners like Signature Bank have ours. When COVID hit, there was a lot of uncertainty for many businesses, particularly surrounding the PPP loan program, with parameters and deadlines changing constantly. The executives from Signature Bank worked weekends alongside their staff, filling out and submitting applications to ensure they took care of us. That type of dedication is hard to find, but we found it with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, Charles, quickly before we get to Mike Scott's news, let's take Don in Palm Desert, California. Good morning, Don.
Good morning, Charles, and good morning, Amy.
Hello.
Good morning.
I'm a snowbird. I go back and forth. I spend half the year in Arlington Heights. And Amy, next time when you grow up, go to Vidor, not Hershey. Anyway, moving on.
Never.
No
I'm wearing orange for a reason.
Orange happens. It's cool. Yes. This gentleman named Paul Caruso out there, he barely lost to Karen Bass in the mayor's race. Of course, late night mail-in ballots were the difference, but he pulled very, very well, has plenty of money, and has been very instrumental in helping the fire victims. He has property out there. He could do it. He has the means, and that would be a potential candidate. And he can talk on TV and radio, and he'd be able to crush Kamala in a debate. Thanks for the show. I listen every morning.
Thank you, Don. Appreciate it. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, they claim they're being blocked. We'll explain. But now let's head into that newsroom. Here is the one and only Mike Scott.
6:32, 3 degrees this morning, a chilly start to the day. President Trump busy with his pen, signing an executive order eliminating federal funding for undocumented immigrants. The order signed Wednesday also directs federal agencies to ensure no funds are being used to encourage illegal immigration. Hamas giving Israel back hostages that have died. Reporter Giles Gibson says 2 young children are believed to be among the dead.
Hamas says it will hand over the bodies of Shiri Bibas and her 2 infant children, who were just 4 and 9 months old when they were taken hostage in the October 7th attacks. The militant group says they were killed in an Israeli airstrike on Gaza, a claim that's not been confirmed.
The bodies, along with that of a hostage in his 80s, were handed over. United Healthcare this morning will offer employees buyouts. The offer comes amidst a turbulent year for the insurance company, which posted record revenue while dealing with a massive cyber attack and the murder of its CEO in December. Delta Airlines is offering passengers on the plane that flipped over in Toronto $30,000 each. A Delta spokesperson says the offer comes with no strings attached. 80 people were on board that flight. 21 were hurt. Chicago's default speed limit will remain at 30 miles an hour. It comes after the city council voted down a proposal by Alderman Daniel Laspada.
We know from every other city that has done this, we'll see fewer crashes, fewer serious injuries, and fewer deaths.
Alderman Chris Taliaferro says lowering speed limits and adding speed cameras usually hits low-income black communities the hardest.
When we put speed cameras in, disproportionately put them in minority communities, particularly in the black community.
The city council also delayed an $830 million borrowing plan favored by Mayor Brandon Johnson. Meantime, Governor J.B. Pritzker unveils his $55.2 billion spending plan in his State of the State address.
If you come to the table looking to spend more, I'm going to ask you where you want to cut.
Senate President Don Harmon says there's a lot of work to be done.
Well, we don't pass our state budget in a vacuum. We're obviously vulnerable to the winds coming out of Washington and the unpredictability and instability that comes from there.
State Senator Chris Balkema noted there was a budget deficit of more than $3 billion just a few days ago.
Well, we don't pass our state budget in a vacuum. We're obviously vulnerable to the winds coming out of Washington and the unpredictability and instability that comes from there.
Meantime, the governor ruffled feathers in Springfield, taking shots at President Donald Trump and comparing his playbook to the Nazi movement.
If you think I'm overreacting and sounding the alarm too soon, consider this. It took the Nazis 1 month, 3 weeks, 2 days, 8 hours, and 40 minutes to dismantle a constitutional republic.
State Senator Don DeWitt was offended by the Pritzker budget address.
This governor owes the Republican legislature members an apology for the bigoted, racist comments he made, calling every one of us Nazis. It's despicable.
GOP Representative Brad Holbrook.
That rhetoric is out of place and need not to be talked and spoken in the General Assembly. It was completely wrong.
The governor says he did not call anyone a Nazi. Chicago Public Schools CEO Pedro Martinez eliminated from running for superintendent in the race for Clark County School Board District leader in Nevada. One trustee saying that Martinez does not fit our profile and fails to meet our standards. Bulls back in action tonight, taking on the Knicks. The Cubs open up exhibition play with a spring training game against the LA Dodgers.
You know, there is some added, I don't want to say importance, but like urgency to these games. I mean, we leave for Japan in 20 days. And so that, I think, gives everybody, you know, make each day count type of message instead of the kind of the springs can feel a little like long and drawn out. This is we really got to make each day count.
Skipper Craig Counsell. College hoops last night. DePaul beaten by number 9 St. John's. The news, a service of Quick Delivery Service, ground delivery when you need it from safe, licensed professionals. Go to quickdelivery.com now to schedule your delivery. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The first weeks of the new Trump administration have been full speed ahead, making America great again.
It's going to only get better.
And on Tuesday, March 4th, President Trump will take a victory lap when he addresses Congress and the nation. And AM 560 is throwing a watch party.
They tell me it's very exciting.
Join us for dinner and President Trump's speech on March 4th in Rolling Meadows. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/watch. That's 560theanswer.com/watch. Sponsored in part by myvirago.com.
When you need parts machined, think NJC for CNC.
NJC Machine Company is a CNC machine shop using computer software combined with old world craftsmanship, meaning whatever part or piece you need, it'll be done precisely and quickly, beating OEM pricing. Whether you need 1 or 1,000 parts, NJC uses experienced workmanship with state-of-the-art equipment for the finest and fast turnaround CNC milling, CNC turning, and 5-axis machining.
Think NJC for CNC.
A one-stop shop for everything from CNC machining, surface grinding, polishing, welding, and more. NJC has the finest array of capabilities to produce your parts from just about any material.
Think NJC for CNC.
Have a broken part? NJC can reverse engineer it. Get a quote today and discover unparalleled customer service. Just fill out the form online, upload your specs. NJC will reach out within 48 hours.
Go to njcmachine.com.
NJC Machine Company, your Illinois Illinois CNC shop.
That's njcmachine.com.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
Attention. If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $20,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. Going back and forth with the IRS can be stressful and confusing. The IRS doesn't joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. Don't let other companies charge you to pull transcripts. BC Tax will discreetly obtain your IRS transcripts free of charge. So, if you're tired of the IRS letters and would like to get a fresh start, BC Tax can help. Our team of tax professionals are making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $20,000. We've helped thousands just like you. Call 800-214-3995 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. Call 800-214-3995. That's 800-214-3995. Again, 800-214-3995.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
641 Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. A service of Wendy's. Try a $3 Son of Baconator today. Kennedy inbound at 30 minutes and climbing right now. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Stalled semi blocking a right lane. Outbound on the Eisenhower right at Woodfield Road. Bishop Ford jamming up inbound 115th to the Ryan Merge. And on the west side, Cicero between Jackson and Madison, both directions shut down with an ongoing police investigation. Shots fired situation. CTA buses are being rerouted as well. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Partly sunny and very cold. High 22. Clear and cold 7 overnight. A bit of a warm-up tomorrow. A high of 26. Currently 4 above at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Health Quest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. Saturday mornings at 11. Visit healthquestradio.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Well, it sounds lovely. The Gardens of Frankfurt, 64 acres near LaGrange Road and Steger Road outside of Frankfurt, 442 units, manufactured homes, 160 different units in the Green Garden Township. It sounds great, right, Charles?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a fast-growing area out there. It's off LaGrange Road.
Yep.
That's right down the main drag in Frankfurt, right?
Yeah, but it's a project that's been put on hold, and we're going to find out why right now. Let's welcome to the program Dan Rose and our good friend Justin Ozinga. Good morning, both of you. How are you?
Good morning, Amy and Charles.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, Dan, let's start with you. Tell us about Gardens of Frankfurt and how long and what the tie-up is in getting this project started.
Yeah, so about 30 years ago, my father moved me and my family to Frankfurt. I think it was 93. And we moved into the Gateway Mobile Home Park just at LaGrange and Stager. And as part of that project, it was a 3-phase project, but this is quite a long time ago. But my dad had planned a 4th phase, which he had to go into the Will County Court to get his zoning for, which we did prevail in court and got that in 2003. And in 2021, when we came in to collect on our zoning, which was at the beginning of the new mayor of Frankfurt, Mayor Keith Ogle, we call controlling Keith Ogle because of his behavior. But it's taken us 3.5 years to get nowhere. And in December, we do this all over the country in terms of real estate development. And Frankfurt's my hometown, and as I saw what we're kind of dealing with in Frankfurt, I got, personally involved and decided to make an impact here and to do something and make a 10-year commitment to the city on the journalism front. And that's where, this kind of all came to a head in December, where we realized what was going on, that we were being blocked. With really, I would say, no rational reason that we can think of. And as I dug into what was going on in Frankfurt, I met Justin, who had already announced running for mayor. And, it's a lot worse than I anticipated, even though I see this all over the country. It really is a small town politics nightmare. And,
well, before we get to Justin, I wanted the mayor, in his defense, he says that there are concerns about sanitary sewage. What's your response?
Sure. Yeah. So as part of this, we had to do I shouldn't say we had to do the city, Village of Frankfurt originally tried to get us to pay for a study on their water system, about 5 or 6 of the basins that includes what would be the Gardens of Frankfurt development. And as part of that study, we learned that there's issues with the sanitary sewer. There's overflow from the sanitary into the water system when there's hard rains. If there's a 50-year rain, we're going to be looking at 4 or 5 full basins of their water system with water leaking into the basements of all the Frankfurt residents there. And it's not the type of water you want in your basement. It's coming from the sewage system. So he's claiming that, but on the same time, over the last 4 years, he's been giving out permits for every other development that he thinks is appropriate up and down those water basins. So it's a discrimination case against us. When we went in, this is clearly commanded by the court. We've already won our rights to the zoning. And the mayor's comment to us is, I'm not an impediment. After 4 years of being told that all we have to do is go through the process and, don't worry, as long as you do this to a Frankfurt standard, it'll be okay. He's, in a meeting in December, he told me, which I kind of took as an FU, he said, well, I'm not an impediment. Go get your water from Aqua, which is in Moni, 5.5 miles away. So what he was saying is, go ahead and build 30,000 foot of linear pipe, and you can do this small development here.
Well, is this affordable housing? Is it needed right now in the area?
Yeah. So, in Frankfurt, we have a housing shortage, and it's a problem. People that want to move within the village don't have the opportunity if they want handicap accessible housing. If they have a 2-story house that it might cost $30 or $40 grand to put in all of the necessary things to make it feasible for somebody of that's elderly or that has some mobility problems. And this is a great solution for that. My great uncle Lloyd, war veteran, or he's a veteran, he lives there, and that's the profile of the people that live in the Gateway community. This would be kind of viewed as an extension of that with the same quality or better quality. So we really think it's a benefit for the village. On top of that, it would prevent subsidized housing in the future. It does qualify under that bucket. So these would be, Frankfurt residents, 55 and up, that would open up 160 homes for what would be young families to move into. Right now it's expensive to buy a home in Frankfurt. And maybe Jess can talk about this because he's got daughters that are coming up to this age that are trying to buy homes. But the cheapest house you can get is near $500,000, and a lot of these are very old. So that comes with maybe $100,000 if you don't want a $20,000 maintenance cost to keep your house up because you got to put a new roof on and do all the things that come with owning a home that was built 80 years ago or 100 years ago. So that's the scenario. And
for example, Senator Rand Paul's December 2020 report highlighted.
Sorry about that.
Dan, it's Charles. I got a question. The homes that you're talking about building in the gardens, they're going to be the manufactured homes, sometimes called prefab homes.
Yeah, that's
they
right.
build them in a couple of, they put the infrastructure up in a couple of days or whatever. Are people concerned that maybe they don't come up to or they won't come up to the standard? I got relatives that live in Frankfurt, beautiful brick homes, that these won't be brick, I presume. And are they concerned about that?
They may. There is a general market concern for that, but that should be gone considering that the Gateway Mobile Home Park is already there and the quality is visible.
Got it.
There's 2-story manufactured homes there. It was done in 3 phases. So the first phase, which is the one that I moved into, is all single story, but phases 2 and 3, and that is of a high quality nature, even phase 1. But if you drove around the neighborhood, you'd be like, oh, this is beautiful. Everybody keeps their yards nice. They're on the small end, 1,500 to 1,600 feet, and they go up to 2,500 feet if you do the 2-story guys and some of the larger homes there. They're really nice. We would call it an A+ manufactured housing community. It's a benefit to the community, and it doesn't cost the city anything because we keep our own streets. It's a zero crime neighborhood. We had in Gateway, which would be across the street from our new development. We had one. I think it's in the fire protection district. We had one fire due to lightning strike over 30 years. It's 100% occupied, and there's no crime. It's like an idyllic place for community's elderly and who haven't quite reached the assisted living need. They want their independence. They can have their own home, and this is a way they can do it. And it's more convenient and affordable than having a single family house that needs the upkeep. So this is really a great solution for the city. There's no reason for them to be stopping it. And this is my issue, and I'm upset about our situation there. But more broadly, what I learned about what was going on here is much worse than what's going on to me. I can understand a not in my backyard type issue, but when every single petitioner of the village comes forward has the same problem, my development company, we have a reasonable footprint. This is less than 1% of our assets. But as I talk to petitioners who are, small business people that come into the village and who've spent between $30,000 and $80,000 upkeeping a building that they won't let them fully develop and are constantly being harassed to do this. And I can't get into people's hearts, but the only rational reason that I can see that it's being killed is that potentially there are some political allies in the neighborhood that want to use the guy's parking lot and are currently using it while it's vacant. It really starts to, this is the stuff that we see all over, but don't really get involved, and this is extremely concentrated.
Yeah, I wanted to get Justin
everybody.
Ozinga in part of the conversation. Yeah. So, Justin, are you? First of all, I know that you're running for mayor, but are you an investor in this project?
No, I'm not. I'm not an investor.
Okay, and let's just tell me why you're supporting this and why you're running for mayor.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I'm never dreamed of running for mayor. Never really had thoughts of getting into politics. But, you know, I live in Frankfurt for 21 years now, raised 5 daughters here, and they want to stay here. And so I'm just excited about the future. I love Frankfurt and the people that are here. I think it's wonderful, great place to raise a family. So I started talking to various folks about why nothing's getting built in this town, the town of Frankfurt, and it just kept coming back to the leadership not wanting change, not wanting to approve developments. And what's worse than that is a lot of the developments that are proposed never see the light of day. The residents of the community never even hear about them. They're just told no for whatever reason. I don't know what the motivation is. And so I started getting more involved, started digging into it more, actually developed a relationship with the current mayor, started talking to him, and then working on various projects. And I wasn't happy with what I was hearing. And so I asked him, I said, how could I get more involved in Frankfurt? And from a leadership position, I think I have a lot to offer, and I'd love to help out, make this community better. And his response to me was, well, you could run for mayor. The election's coming up in April.
So you are. Okay. Is there any, real quick, because we're up against the clock, gentlemen, is there any pending litigation?
No, but we're the Gardens of Frankfurt has to keep their options open. I would never have dreamed that we'd have to go in and have another lawsuit for our rights here. But we are going to stand up for ourselves and do what is needed. But we don't want to have. I mean, just as a frame of reference. I mean, I'm getting in. This is my hometown. You know, we noticed this was going on. We're trying to do things here in a civic nature. You know, and hopefully we don't have to go through that. But I don't. That's not. It hadn't been filed or anything.
All right. Well,
the bigger issue at hand is that the people need to be the voice, and they're the ones that should be deciding these things, not a couple people that decide it in a closed room. That's just not appropriate.
Okay, Dan Rose and Justin Ozinga, we're going to have to leave it there for today. Thank you so much, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy and Charles.
Thank you, and they joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Why do so many companies count on Riverdale Plating and Heat Treating? Consistent high level of quality, an ISO certified and A2LA accredited heat treating, electroplating, fastener sorting, and packaging job shop. Riverdale Plating and Heat Treating meets and exceeds client specifications. Whether a high volume or a small production run, their processes ensure a job well done. Celebrating their 15th anniversary this year, they specialize in metal fasteners and stampings for automotive and other industries. And with a newly expanded sorting department, there are many sorting and packaging options to meet your needs. Riverdale Plating and Heat Treating serves customers in Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin, and Tennessee, with easy access to all forms of transportation from an automated facility in Riverdale, Illinois, just 15 minutes southwest of Chicago. Want consistent quality? Call Riverdale Plating and Heat Treating, 708-849-2050, or visit riverdalePHT.com.
You never want to miss one of life's most important moments. A graduation, a birthday, a first communion, a wedding. When these moments happen, you want to make sure to capture them so that you and your loved ones can remember them for years to come. For over 30 years, families have relied on Tom Kaloran Photography to capture important life moments. This locally owned family business can provide the solutions you need for your important event photography, from weddings and birthdays to class reunions and golf outings. No matter the size or scope, Tom Kaloran Photography will make sure you have lasting memories to share for years to come. Tom Kaloran Photography is also the official photographer for AM 560 The Answer. To learn more and to see their portfolio, just visit KaloranPhotography.com. That's KILLORAN photography.com. Or call them at 708-361-0025. Tom Kaloran Photography, capturing important life moments for over 30 years.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we got a fun show. We're rocking and rolling this morning. Saving babies. We'll tell you how you can help. And later, yet another mid-air collision, this one over the skies in Tucson, Arizona. And the first lawsuit has been filed in that American Airlines crash in Washington, D.C. But first, let's head into the newsroom, get the latest from here at home and around the world. Here is Mike Scott.
A man charged in the stabbing of 2 Chicago hospital employees. Chicago City Council rejects a proposal to lower the speed limit and the mayor's plan to borrow $830 million. The governor criticizes Donald Trump as the teachers union criticizes his education funding plan. There's a movement to ban cell phones in Illinois classrooms. The Bulls visit the Knicks, and it's the Cubs and Dodgers today. WIND Chicago News Time, 7.
It's been 1 month. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, since President Trump returned. And he has signed yet another executive order that Fox's Mark Meredith reports from the White House.
It should certainly appeal to voters who feel the federal government has bending over backwards to help illegal immigrants. Under the order issued overnight, our understanding the government would cut out money to spend encouraging them to get Obamacare, money for assistance programs like food stamps, as well as for the children's health insurance.
And more layoffs are coming as the Trump administration targets probationary federal workers recently hired. Multiple reports have the IRS ready to cut 6,000 jobs. And as DOJ keeps looking to slash more federal spending.
President Trump claims the Department of Government Efficiency, led by billionaire Elon Musk, is saving tens of billions of dollars in waste, fraud, and abuse, and he's considering sending 20% of those savings to American taxpayers. Musk saying he believes it could total $5,000 per taxpayer.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. The FBI is about to get a new director.
This afternoon, the full Senate is expected to confirm FBI nominee Kash Patel. It comes despite pushback from Democrats, some of them listing all the reasons they view Patel as unqualified and not trustworthy for the job.
As Fox's Brooke Singman, Ukraine's foreign minister just met with the special U.S. envoy to his country, saying they talked about a just and lasting peace. The day after President Trump, who blames Ukraine for starting a war that began with Russia's invasion, called Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky
a dictator without elections. Zelensky better move fast or he's not going to have a country left. Got to move fast because that war is going in the wrong direction.
The president may meet this month with Russian leader Vladimir Putin after Tuesday's U.S.-Russia talks on ending the war that Ukraine was left out of. In Gaza, that's the moment Hamas handed over 4 coffins to be given to Israel, including the remains of a mother and her 2 young children killed after the 2023 Hamas terror attack that triggered the war, and also as part of a ceasefire that halted it. 6 hostages who are alive will be set free Saturday. America's listening to Fox News.
7:02, 3 degrees above zero. Skies are clear this morning at 7:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott, and here in Chicago, the default speed limit will remain at 30 miles per hour. Comes after the City Council Wednesday voted down a proposal to lower the speed limit to 25. Alderman Daniel LaSpada argued in favor. Alderman Chris Taliaferro argued against.
When we put speed cameras in, disproportionately put them in minority communities, particularly in the black community.
City Council also delayed an $830 million borrowing plan favored by Mayor Brandon Johnson and Johnson ally Pat Dowell.
This bond issuance is standard and necessary.
We have a duty to the residents of our city to provide them with the safe, accessible, and vital infrastructure that makes Chicago what it is.
The governor unveiling his $55.2 billion spending plan, the largest in state history, with yesterday's State of the State address.
If you come to the table looking to spend more, I'm going to ask you where you want to cut.
Afterwards, State Senator Chris Balkema noted there was a budget deficit of more than $3 billion just a few days ago.
Well, we don't pass our state budget in a vacuum. We're obviously vulnerable to the winds coming out of Washington and the unpredictability and instability that comes from there.
State Senator Don Harmon, the Democrat governor, announcing an increase of $300 million for education funding, which the Chicago Teachers Union criticized. Meantime, the governor took shots at President Donald Trump and Illinois Republicans, comparing authoritarian playbooks to the Nazi movement.
If you think I'm overreacting and sounding the alarm too soon, consider this. It took the Nazis 1 month, 3 weeks, 2 days, 8 hours, and 40 minutes to dismantle a constitutional republic.
That type of rhetoric offended State Senator Don DeWitt.
This governor owes the Republican legislature members an apology for the bigoted, racist comments he made, calling every one of us Nazis. It's despicable.
The governor says he did not call anyone a Nazi. Chicago sports finds the Bulls back in action. Finally, tonight against the Knicks at MSG. Cubs and Dodgers at Camelback Ranch this afternoon. While in college hoops, Northwestern will go against Ohio State tonight. Last night, DePaul destroyed by number 9 St. John's 82-58. The news, a service of the Chicago Wolves. Join the Chicago Wolves for Faith and Fellowship. Saturday night at 7 at the Iowa Wild. Stay for the postgame as Wolves forward Josiah Slavin shares stories about his faith. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hugh Hewitt sees movement in the war in Ukraine.
President Trump has called both Putin of Russia and President Zelensky of Ukraine. Now, how do we get out of this? There's got to be a way for both sides to claim that they won something. For Putin not to lose face, and for Zelensky not to lose his country.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
During tax season, your personal info travels to a lot of places you can't control. Between payroll, your home office, your tax preparer, and the IRS, if your W-2 gets exposed, that's just the ticket for identity thieves. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
It's time to throw out your overpriced big wireless contract. Throw it overboard. You can get an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0 with a qualifying plan of just $45 a month. Get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot. You get all of it. So get your new iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy for $0. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, pound 250, keyword Pure Talk from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Be a part of something bigger. The America First Leadership Dinner with Lara Trump is your chance to stand at the forefront of the movement shaping America's future. On February 21st in DuPage County, get ready for an unforgettable evening of impactful conversation, networking, and leadership with Lara Trump, co-chair of the Republican National Committee, daughter-in-law to President Trump, and Fox News' newest host. Lara will join business leaders, elected officials, and patriots to discuss the key issues defining America's future. Seats are limited. Secure yours today at countyconservatives.com. Be part of the movement that became too big to rig. The night will include a silent auction featuring upscale Trump merchandise and an absolutely delectable chocolate dessert table. The America First Leadership Dinner with Lara Trump, February 21st. Advance purchase tickets only. Available at countyconservatives.com. That's countyconservatives.com. Seats are limited. Secure yours today at countyconservatives.com. Event sponsored by MC Go Pack.
7:08, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. North Barrington, Route 59 remains shut down north and southbound between Scott and Route 22, all due to that icing condition that still exists on the roadway. Old Barrington Road right now is a good alternate. They're clearing an accident North Chicago on US 41 right before Casimir Pulaski Drive. Lake Villa clearing an accident. Monaville Road right at Fairfield. And a reminder that the Indiana Toll Road is running with a winter weather ban for double and triple trailers between now and noontime today because of a lake effect snowstorm developing along the Indiana Toll Road. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Here's AccuWeather's Steve Williams.
It'll be cold start to finish today. Partly sunny. High today at 22. Clear frigid night tonight, low 7. Sunny to partly cloudy, cold tomorrow, the high 26. And then partly to mostly sunny on Saturday, the high at 30. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
3 above officially at O'Hare. Next news 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good Thursday morning. Amy Jacobson here, Charles Thomas in for Dan Proft, and it's always a pleasure. This is our first time together.
Yeah, having a great time too, Amy.
Oh, you're swinging from chandeliers. I see you there in the newsroom, here in the studio. So, no, thinking we here at AM 560, The Answer, always try to help organizations that are in need and believe in the sanctity of life. So with that, let's welcome to our program Kurt Wiggins. He's from the Caring Network on Saving Babies. Good morning, Mr. Wiggins. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. So for those of us who are not familiar with the Caring Network, what is it?
Yeah, Caring Network has been around since 1981, and we serve women facing unexpected pregnancies, and we extend the love and compassion of Jesus to them, equipping them to choose life for the baby and also spiritual life for themselves. And so really been exciting to see the impact in DuPage County, and now we're expanding beyond that into the Chicagoland region.
Well, so the number of abortions in Illinois have doubled in less than 7 years, with the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And now Illinois has become an abortion tourism destination for women from across the Midwest. I had heard reports that we are busing women in from Indiana and from Iowa to get procedures done. Is that true?
I can't verify if they're being bussed in, but I certainly know that they are coming from surrounding states and even, beyond that, further out across the U.S. to Illinois, because we have the most permissive abortion laws in the U.S., and so women are coming here to have an abortion for sure.
Well, are there late-term abortions or after-birth abortions being performed?
No, there are some limitations in Illinois. My understanding is that you can't do after 23 weeks, but I'm not aware. I can't verify if they are or are not. I know we've seen women that come into our clinics that are in their second, even early into their third term, and so it's really devastating.
Well, when you talk about abortion-minded women, what exactly is that?
Yeah, those are women that they get pregnant unexpectedly and they are intent on having an abortion. They're going to go to a Planned Parenthood or another abortion facility and have the abortion. Many of the pregnancy resource centers do good work, but they're often serving the abortion vulnerable woman. That's the woman that gets pregnant unexpectedly, and if she has the resources, material goods, diapers, help with rent, will keep her baby. But the abortion-minded woman is the one that's she's intent to have an abortion, and that's the woman that we're equipped to serve and try to reach so that she doesn't go and have an abortion.
Well, how do you reach her? What talking points do you use? Or physically, do you stop them at the abortion clinic, or how does it work?
No, we don't. We don't protest. Our approach is we try to reach her first through digital marketing. Women that are searching for abortion are looking on their phones, abortion near me, and so we want to come up in that marketing near the top or at the top, so that she comes to us first. If a woman goes to an abortion facility first, the chance that she chooses life is less than 10%. But if she comes to us first, it's 65% or even more. And so we really invest in digital marketing. And then once she connects to us, we have a call center, and then we have a telehealth appointment where she can connect with a nurse right away and be able to talk with the nurse and start to understand her situation and her options even before she comes in. And then from there, we schedule into a brick and mortar location, one of our clinics, to confirm she's pregnant through a pregnancy test, do an ultrasound exam, and then STD testing, and then be able to provide the options for her and be able to equip her to choose life if that's her choice. But we really are trying to serve her and reach her first.
So the goal of this campaign is to raise $20,000 to support the mission of Caring Network. The number to call if you'd like to donate is 855-84-WOMEN. That's 855-84-WOMEN, or you can go online at 560theanswer.com/caring. Now, it also says that one of your missions is to restore those who've already been hurt by abortion. How does that work?
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about our mission is that we are non-judgmental. Our desire is to equip women that are considering abortion, but not every woman chooses life. And so if she doesn't, we provide a post-abortion care that helps women and men that have abortion in their past find healing and freedom and forgiveness, and to be able to overcome a lot of the pain and suffering that comes from an abortion, which is often not even talked about.
Yeah, and we're asking for a one-time gift of $150 to the Caring Network. What will that provide?
Yeah, $150 helps us reach 5 women who are considering abortion. And like I said, it's through our digital marketing efforts. And so that will enable us to be able to connect with her and reach her first so that she comes to us instead of going and having an abortion.
How do we divide the resources here? You need resources to do what you do, but then I see so much money and time spent in politics and in the courts to oppose abortion. How are the resources divided right now in terms of what goes to those efforts and what goes to you?
Thanks for asking. There's definitely a need to change legislation, and that's important. And there's a lot of effort and politically a lot of discussion and rhetoric about this that drives people giving to that purpose. We don't take the political approach. We want to make a difference one woman at a time, one life at a time. And so we have a track record of doing that in DuPage County. We grew from 3 to 6 women's clinics from 2010 to 2020, and we were able to see abortion drop during that time by 40%, and 2 of the 4 abortion facilities in DuPage County shut down during that time. The average decline in any other county was 5% at best in the state of Illinois. And so when I started as president, I saw that and I said, you know what, we can make a real difference in ending abortion by extending, multiplying the number of clinics. So we're trying to start 25 clinics across the region in the most strategic places, and then be able to not only serve women and save lives, but shut down abortion providers and really put them out of business by taking away market share from them. And so I think it's a really good investment, and it's making a difference in real lives. Not to say it's not important to do legislation, but that's the work that we focus on is reaching her first.
And God bless you for that, because I don't think there's enough. It's focused on what you do, as opposed to the litigious part of it.
Yeah, and that's the culture we're in. I mean, that's how things get done in a political and legal way. But we just feel like we can reach her. You know, we see women every day that are considering abortions, that are at a place where they're going to end the life. She's in a crisis, and we want to come alongside her and really help de-escalate her crisis. No one makes good decisions in a crisis, and de-escalate the crisis, and then equip her to make the best decision. And we believe God's hardwired into women a maternal instinct that when she's pregnant, that she will choose. Once she understands the situation and knows she has support network, will make the best decision for the baby. And so, really trying to meet these women where they're at.
And since 1981, how many babies or children's lives have you saved?
You know, we started out with volunteers. I can't say exactly, but I know it's in the thousands, tens of thousands for sure. You know, last year we saved over 600 babies' lives, and it's important to remember these are the most difficult women that we're trying to reach, the women that are intent on having an abortion. But that's why we're trying to scale to reach more and go into the city of Chicago. Abortion's growing the fastest in African American and Latino communities, and so we're trying to go into those communities and really show the love and compassion of Jesus to be able to impact those communities for life.
And you need help to do that, and help comes in the form of money. To make a donation, 855-84-WOMEN, 855-84-WOMEN, asking for a gift of $150, and you can help Caring Network reach 5 women who are considering abortion. To make that gift, please go to 560theanswer.com/caring. Well, Kurt, thank you so much for your time today, and good luck with the campaign, and we're always here if you need us.
Yeah, thank you so much for your partnership.
Again, that number is 855-84-WOMEN or 560theanswer.com/caring. And Kurt joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
The truth is, viruses cannot be killed, and unlike bacteria, viruses are not alive. A virus is what we call a biologic entity, but we can still do something. We can destroy a virus or even keep it from being able to launch its attack on our bodies before, during, and after exposure. And this is why you need to get the kit. Our winter survival kit. Your body can protect you from these infectious bugs, but it needs a little help building up its immune defenses. And the best offense is a great defense. And that's why you need the kit. It's a perfect strategy for every infectious bug, as well as those non-living, can't-kill viruses. Our winter survival kit is a must for your home or workplace. It contains targeted nutritional components that can get the job done before, during, and after any infectious exposure. So get the kit. For details, call our Health Quest Radio hotline at 800-794-1855. That's 800-794-1855. It's Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
All right, Charles Thomas, let's get personal. Do you have any pain in your hips, knees, back, elbows, shoulders? Go.
Go, right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I got stuff like that going on, you know.
Yeah, well, where is it going on? Head, shoulders, knees and toes, where?
Feet. Yeah. You know, I was with my son and daughter last night. Both of them, by the way, are approaching 50 years old. And I was saying, you know, my doctor asked me to stand on one leg. And
I'm going to do that right now,
yeah,
okay?
Stand on one leg. How long can you stand on one leg? I tell you, I couldn't make it 5 seconds.
Really?
No. But you got to understand,
on one leg. I do yoga all the time, though.
I'm in my 8th decade here.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Do you Botox?
Huh?
Do you Botox?
Somebody,
or have you had work done?
I get the same reaction, but I will be 74 years old in about 3 weeks.
Oh.
No, not 3 weeks. Three
your
months.
mind's going.
I'm sorry. Hey, the mind goes first. Yeah, all that. I fool people a lot like that. But I've been around. Yeah. I've been around the block a few times.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you, if you ever do get chronic pain where it's hard to walk or do simple things like walk up the stairs or play pickleball or get in and out of your car, consider QC Kinetics. It's new orthobiologic cellular therapies, including PRP treatments that can revitalize your joints without going under the knife, without cortisone shots, without downtime from surgery that may or may not work. QC Kinetics treatments prompts your body to heal and restore damaged joints. There's no downtime again. And joint pain, as you know, does not get better with time. It gets worse. So before it's absolutely debilitating, see if you're a candidate for these life-changing treatments. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation. Tell them Amy Jacobson sent you. Saturday appointments available. They'll walk you through the process and see if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics. Great people, good friends of ours. The number to call is 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. Again, 312-809-5955.
It's time to throw out your overpriced big wireless contract. Throw it overboard. You can get an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0 with a qualifying plan of just $45 a month. Get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot. You get all of it. So get your new iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy for $0. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, pound 250, keyword Pure Talk from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
During tax season, your personal info travels to a lot of places you can't control. Between payroll, your home office, your tax preparer, and the IRS, if your W-2 gets exposed, that's just the ticket for identity thieves. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
President Trump is moving at lightning speed.
Billions of dollars in waste, fraud, and abuse.
Executive orders, new policies, promises kept. It's hard to keep up until now. Subscribe to the Trump Report. This email brings you daily highlights from the Oval Office right to your inbox 5 days a week.
The golden age of America begins right now.
It'll help you follow President Trump at the speed of Trump.
It's time to throw out your overpriced big wireless contract. Throw it overboard. You can get an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0 with a qualifying plan of just $45 a month. Get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot. You get all of it. So get your new iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy for $0. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, pound 250, keyword Pure Talk from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
During tax season, your personal info travels to a lot of places you can't control. Between payroll, your home office, your tax preparer, and the IRS, if your W-2 gets exposed, that's just the ticket for identity thieves. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. Your business and your money are in good hands with Signature Bank. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Jason Zenger, owner of Zenger's Industrial Supply and host of the Making Chips podcast, and a proud customer of Signature Bank. Through rapid growth, acquisitions of competitors, and taking over from the previous generation, Signature Bank was there with us every step of the way. Recently, the team introduced us to FinRails AP, their proprietary system for accounts payable automation. Not only did FinRails AP help us to reduce costs and create efficiencies, but it also helped minimize fraud risk. Now, our company can invest time into what we do best, supplying industrial products, metalworking tooling, contractor tools, and safety supplies to those who make, build, and create great things for our country.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, Charles, I asked you this yesterday. If you've ever received flowers from a woman.
Never.
Okay. Don't you think it's appropriate for the man to send the woman flowers?
Absolutely. I think
Okay,
a man
well-
receiving flowers from a woman is that's not happening for me.
Well, it's happening because our governor, Pritzker, posted about it. MK gave JB some roses.
Yeah, that's
So I got these flowers from my wife for Valentine's Day. I have not opened the card yet, but on the 6-month anniversary of us dating, MK called up the florist and ordered some flowers to send to me. And I don't know whether there was something lost in translation when she told the florist what to write on the card, or if she actually purposely did this. But I opened the card when I got it, and it said, this is at our 6-month anniversary, it said, "Thanks for the last 6 months." That's all. So I'm kind of expecting that, we're 36 years in now, and it's possible that this card says, "Thanks for the last 36 years." So.
Andy's opening the
No,
card.
It says to my favorite Valentine. Love MK. So, anyway, thanks for the last 36 years, MK.
Oh, is that like video flirting? Oh.
Yeah, video flirting. That's sweet. Yeah.
I know. Justin, you said that I'm wrong on this one because I think it's very uncomfortable for a woman to send a man flowers.
Oh, I think it's cute. I think the gesture was actually kind of cute, and the 36 months or the thanks for the 6 months, I think is a cute thing to play off of. I think it's more cringe that you're celebrating a 6-month anniversary rather than actually getting flowers.
Well, it's good they've been together 36 years. That's an accomplishment. And have you seen MK? She looks great. I don't know if she's on the Ozempic or if she's doing it the hard way, but she has lost a lot of weight.
Gosh, if you got $4.5 billion, I mean, you get to do a lot of things that the rest
That's
of us
true.
can't do.
And now maybe the governor will follow suit. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, yet another mid-air collision. We'll talk to Rob Mark. He's a pilot and a former air traffic controller. We'll see what's going on with the system there. And then later, why is Trump aligning himself with Russian talking points? We'll have an expert on with that. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott. Mike, have you ever received flowers from Melissa?
No.
Okay.
And it's okay. It might be okay when we were a little younger, but as you age and grow older in your marriage, flowers from both directions are not necessary.
All right. Thank you.
There you go. Definitively speaking.
Yes.
The IRS is expected to start laying off some 6,000 employees beginning today. The IRS will be primarily letting go of probationary workers. It's all part of the Trump administration's efforts to reduce the federal government workforce. The remains of 4 dead Israeli hostages have been handed over by Hamas.
A somber day in Israel as the bodies of 4 hostages are returned. The victims include a mother and her 2 very young children, as well as an 84-year-old man who was abducted along with his wife, toddlers Ariel, Bibas, Kafir, and their mother, Cherie, and an 84-year-old journalist and peace activist, Oded Leifshitz. It comes more than 500 days after the horrific attack in Israel on October 7th, 2023. The official identification process of the 4 slain Israelis is expected to take several hours. On Saturday, Hamas is expected to release 6 living hostages.
A federal judge continues to weigh whether to dismiss corruption charges against embattled New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Judge Dale Ho summoned Adams and federal prosecutors to court yesterday. New details are emerging this morning in the rapidly developing bribery case against Illinois State Senator Emil Jones III. Documents allege he was dining in 2019 with a clout-heavy red light camera executive when that executive expressed concerns about a pending Jones bill. According to the court paperwork, that executive, Omar Minai of SafeSpeed, asked Jones, "How much do you want?" $5,000, Jones allegedly told Minai. Jones also told Minai it would be nice if he could get a part-time job for a legislative aide. Minai was secretly recording the meeting for the FBI, told Jones that he needed to think of creative ways to get him the money. That conversation and other key details were revealed for the first time as Jones' April 1 trial date on bribery charges fast approaches. The most serious charge carries up to 10 years in prison. Back in 2020, then Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot had 3 statues of Christopher Columbus removed in Chicago. For all the time since, Italian-American groups in the city have been fighting to put them back. After an uproar over racist and anti-Semitic art displayed recently at the Chicago Cultural Center, there's a movement growing to restore the statues. Now 10 aldermen are backing an order that would get the Grant Park Columbus statue out of storage. The Columbus statue and other monuments would also get reinstalled as expressions of art. It's an order put forth by Alderman Anthony Napolitano and has the approval of Joint Civic Committee Chairman Ron Onesti. Onesti says the group will give the city 60 days to replace the statues based solely on comments from the Cultural Affairs Commissioner, who said controversial art should be protected by the city. Bulls are back in action tonight visiting the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. Cubs open up exhibition play with a spring training game against the Dodgers at Camelback Ranch this afternoon. College hoops last night. DePaul destroyed by number 9 St. John's. UIC lost to Drake, and Illinois State beat Bradley. 7:34. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
President Trump is moving at lightning speed.
And after that, all hell is going to break out.
Executive orders, new policies, promises kept. It's hard to keep up until now. Subscribe to the Trump Report. This email brings you daily highlights from the Oval Office right to your inbox 5 days a week.
I will put America first.
It'll help you follow President Trump at the speed of Trump. Sign up today at 560theanswer.com/Trump.
Salem News Channel is America's fastest growing conservative TV network.
It's an absolute crazy day.
Home to the largest lineup of free speech champions anywhere. Delivering in-depth insight and unapologetic opinion on today's biggest news stories.
Americans aren't going to put up with this anymore.
SNC brings you the news that matters, told with integrity and clarity. Watch Salem News Channel free 24/7 on your television. Stream now on Pluto TV.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-839-8484. 800-839-8484. 800-839-8484.
7:36, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Let's get on the expressways and watch the Kennedy just really grow in travel time. Jump from like 40 minutes to an hour and 4 in the last 15 from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Ike inbound is at an hour 12 from 390 into the old post office. A lot of that due to a stalled semi, right lane blocked as you travel on the west end near Woodfield Road. Stevenson right now is at 1 hour, 3:55 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan, 35, 95th into the Circle. And you are jammed on the Ford and I-57 into the Ryan merge this morning. Reagan, I-88, report of an accident, 2 left lanes blocked. It's on the westbound side between York Road and Cermak. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now, your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Partly sunny, still very cold today, high 22. Clear and cold, 7 overnight. Clouding up, 5 at O'Hare, 5 at Midway, -1 in Aurora where there are clear skies, and 7 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good Thursday morning. Amy Jacobson here. Charles Thomas in for Dan Proft. Good morning, friend.
And good morning to you, Amy.
I can't believe you're 74 years old. I'm still letting that sink in.
Yeah, I'm most of that. I got a few weeks to go before that, but...
oh, well, when's the big day?
May 3rd.
Oh, you're a May baby.
A May baby, yeah.
Okay.
It's like what, 6-8 weeks, something like that.
Yeah. Oh, who cares? Just numbers.
I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, you know.
Yeah, you only turned 74 once.
You only turn 74 once, and that's, I'm in my 8th decade.
Wow.
And I can still, you know, hang out a little bit, and I like that.
So are you a big flyer? I know you obviously you were a correspondent for ABC News, stationed in Europe. You've probably been all over the world.
Huge flyer. In fact, I can remember one year I logged 200,000 real miles, actual miles on an airplane.
What's your airline of choice?
Back in the day, when I was really doing my heavyweight flying, it was TWA. Do you remember that?
I loved that. Was my first flight ever.
Really?
Chicago to LA.
Really? Yeah.
I thought they had the best food on airplanes.
They did.
They
absolutely did, because I had so many points, I could actually get in first class, and they actually had a flaming meal one time on an airplane. Now I said,
like
wait a minute, they got to be
Greek
violating.
Cheese?
Huh? Some
like
kind
the
of
Greek cheese when they light it on fire.
Oh yeah, like Saganaki. Yeah, it was. Yeah, but they had. They did have great food on those airplanes, and I could get on the first class because I had so many miles, and they had a huge seat that I could lay back and fly from here to points unknown.
Yeah, and then TWA merged with American Airlines. So
Did
now
they?
are you with
Is that
American?
what happened to them? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're no longer there.
Right.
But,
there's no more Pan Am or Eastern Airlines or the list go AirTran. What else did we used to fly?
Northwest Airlines.
I loved America West when I lived out in Tucson and El Paso. I used that a lot. Loved them. They're gone. So everybody merged with somebody else.
Yeah.
And Northwest Airlines, which used to be called Northwest Orient, my uncle was a captain of that, and he flew the first 777 from Detroit to Seattle and then Detroit to Anchorage. So I've always been into flying, and now, they took a survey of people there's been a string of accidents with the Delta crash in Toronto. Luckily, all 80 passengers survived, and then the American Airlines crash with the helicopter, the Army helicopter in D.C., and then yesterday, I don't know if you saw this, there was two, I think it was a Cessna, another plane that crashed midair in Tucson, Arizona.
Really? I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, so it's, but that was there was no air traffic control tower there. It was an airfield. So, and when that happens, you have to look out for the other pilot. There's not a lot of communication. So with more on that and everything else, airlines, Rob Mark, business jet pilot, former air traffic controller, and publisher of jetwine.com. He joins us this morning. Good morning, Rob. How are you?
Hey, good morning. And, I just want to interject. One other airline that went down the tubes was Chicago's own Midway Airlines.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Remember those?
Where did they fly to? I can't remember.
Well, we went to more regional destinations. I think we used to go as far, occasionally out to L.A., but usually to the East Coast and a lot of smaller aircraft we use for regional flights. That was before before they were even called commuters. But anyways, they were a good company to work for.
Now, what's your airline of choice?
I don't think I have one anymore. I used to be a loyal Southwest guy, and I was a loyal American guy before that. But they all pretty much treat you the same, and so I just can't really spare the brain power to try to stay in touch with everybody.
So now you fly your own planes. You're a business jet pilot?
Well, when I can, but when I have to go on the airlines, I just take the best fare that I can get for the seat I want.
Yes. All right. So let's talk about what happened over Tucson yesterday. And there's no air traffic control towers, and that it reminded me a lot of what the Bob Collins' accident. Remember when he ran into
yes, up in Waukegan?
Waukegan. Yeah. Yep.
Well, people might be surprised to know that there are a lot of those smaller airfields that don't have control towers, and that mostly based with small aircraft. This accident included a Cessna 172, which is a small four-place travel airplane, usually a training airplane too. The airport out there is 2 runways, and everybody kind of talks on the radio and looks out for everybody else. It's what we call see and be seen, and that's the basic rule of flying visually, is you look out the window and you make sure there's not anybody else there. And you talk on the radio to try to keep everybody else in touch with what you're doing, and they tell you what they're doing, and so you kind of have to be on your toes if it's a busy airport. And I've not flown into this airport out there northwest of Tucson, but I understand it's a fairly busy airport.
And so there's been a string of accidents. Of course, the mainstream media is blaming Trump. Here's a montage of that.
Now, this is a Canadian air traffic control tower, and this is under Canadian authority once it crosses the border. And yet, as you know, there has been this talk about maybe staff cuts at the FAA as a part of President Trump's effort to trim down the federal workforce. This is going to feed into all of these recent incidents, and the safety of the total air traffic system is going to be very much a part of the conversation as we go forward.
Incompetence and chaos going on, and we should not put up with it.
Well,
and by the way, prices are supposed to come down, not airplanes.
Well,
This is happening against the backdrop of massive cuts across the federal government, including at the FAA. Hundreds of FAA employees have been laid off as part of Elon Musk going through all the federal agencies. And
so is there any correlation between FAA cuts in personnel and these accidents happening?
Well, certainly not the one that we're just talking about out in Tucson.
Right.
There weren't any FAA personnel stationed out there anyway. And as far as the other accidents, it's way too early to tell. But I do agree with that. These Fire Acts cuts that are going on at the FAA. They're just coming at a bad time. Right now, because the public's confidence really does get shaken in air travel when we have this many accidents in such a short span of time.
So, and a question for you too, new Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. He X'd out. Mayor Pete failed for 4 years to address the air traffic controller shortage and upgrade our outdated World War II era air traffic control system. In less than 4 weeks, we've already begun the process and are engaging the smartest minds in the entire world. When you worked as an air traffic controller, did you find that system to be old and antiquated?
Oh, yeah, we did. And the technology that FAA uses is pretty old, and they usually have proprietary equipment that they eventually can't make parts for, and when things start to break down, they're kind of patching it together. And but to be fair, no president if you want to give the president credit or damnation for it, no president in the last 20 years has been able to work on that air traffic control system. And the current president had, obviously had a 4-year term before the one he has now, and they didn't do anything then either.
What about this fact that this plane in Canada could flip over and all the passengers walk away? Not all of them walk away, but nobody was killed. I found that to be the most remarkable thing about that crash after seeing it on video.
Well, thank goodness people listened and actually had their seatbelts on, because that's a prime example of what would have happened if the people did not have, if they weren't belted in, they would have hit the ceiling when the airplane rolled over. Obviously, airplanes are not supposed to do that, but that's why we tell people to belt up before landing. And the other issue, I think, is luckily there was nobody silly enough to try to hold a small infant on their lap, because that baby would have gone flying. And pilots hate that. Flight attendants hate it. It's all legal to carry a lap child, and so the parents can save some cash, but it's not safe.
Well, actually, one of the 18 people that were injured was a child who was sitting on their mother's lap, so I'm sure we'll hear more about that. But yeah, I know that's always a concern.
That is interesting. Wow.
And they were hanging it upside down like bats. But Delta last night they came out with an offer. They're offering each passenger $30,000 who were on the flight. Would you take that deal? Because I think counseling might be more than $30,000 for a lifetime.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's nice. It's nice cash to say we're sorry, but I think there's probably, if I were an attorney, I would be saying you might not want to take that, because I'm sure the lawsuits are already in progress for that for those passengers. But that's something beyond my area of expertise. Right, but I hate to turn cash away.
Right, and also then the first lawsuit has been filed against the FAA and the Army in the American Airlines D.C. crash. A Connecticut father of 3. They're filing a $250 million lawsuit. When are we going to know whose fault it was? I mean, it looks, from all intents and purposes, it looks like it was the helicopter's fault.
Well, it's probably going to take a year, I would say, before we're going to see a final report out of the NTSB, because they have so many dark corners to go down, and what they label it a probable cause, which is the absolute damning factor. However, there are going to be other contributing factors that might include something the tower controller did or didn't do, or something the pilot of the helicopter did or didn't do. It could be, we don't know exactly what. Could have been a piece of equipment failure on board the helicopter that made them think they were in the right place. But again, it's going to take at least a year to pull all those factors together.
And still, in your mind, flying is safer than driving?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, see, when we talk about the statistics of flying, I mean, there's just no doubt that it's still safer. But that's left brain stuff, and that's the logical side. But people don't always think with their left brain. Sometimes it's the right side, the emotional side, and people are still frightened. And I'm just saying that, as I did before, that with all the chaos that we've had in the last few weeks around air travel, and then the administration starts axing people in the FAA. These are the support people. They didn't cut any controllers, but the support people that help keep all that old technology running, that makes people really uncomfortable.
Do you think some of these people will be called back, though? I'm sorry, Charles, for interrupting, because some people from the EPA from Chicago who were cut got emails saying that they're reinstating their position. Has that happened, to the best of your knowledge, at the FAA?
I have not heard of that happening with anybody from FAA. But again, I mean, the fact that did happen, like, early on when they offered everybody a buyout, air traffic controllers were included in that until someone realized, oops, wait a minute, we need these people.
Let me say, as it relates, unfortunately, are only focused on.
Sorry about that. Charles, what were you going to ask?
Yeah, I just wanted to know this whole business of are the standards lower for pilots and air traffic controllers today as opposed to, let's say, 10, 15 years ago?
The standards. Well, the standards could be many things. The standards to become a pilot, become a licensed pilot, no, those haven't changed. Now, the standards that companies use to hire people, I can't speak to that because I just simply don't know.
All right. Thanks, Rob Mark. Always a pleasure. You can find him as the publisher of jetwine.com. He's a business pilot and a former air traffic controller. Thanks, Rob, for joining us. Have a great day.
Hey, take care.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Gain insight into building strong marriages and raising godly children with Focus on the Family with Jim Daly each weekday at 11:30 a.m. on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life.
MyPillow is excited to announce that they're having the first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 30% on their brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one Mike has worn every day for 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get the 2025 6-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. The initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And the best-selling standard MyPillow, just $14.98. To take advantage of the first ever mega sale, go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship has sailed because right now every order ships absolutely free. MyPillow.com, promo code LIBERTY.
Does pain in your life impact everything you do, like walking, climbing stairs, even getting out of your car? You don't have to live like this. Hey, Amy Jacobson here with a solution. Joint pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back due to arthritis or an injury can be eliminated. How? Well, with the help from our good friends at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics regenerative treatments are sweeping the nation. Everyone's talking about it. And they're right here in Chicago under the guidance of medical director Dr. Ashley Caravelli. Here's how it works. QC Kinetics treatments prompt your body to heal and restore damaged joints. Joint pain doesn't get better with time. See if you're a candidate for these life-changing treatments. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation and tell them Amy Jacobson sent you. Saturday appointments available. Call 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. Again, 312-809-5955.
This is Larry Elder, inviting you to join me on the Alaska cruise this summer, along with Mike Gallagher, Jennifer Horn, and Joe Piscopo. Enjoy Alaska's breathtaking beauty like never before. Text the word travel to 94878 to reserve your cabin today. This luxury trip is your chance to experience majestic scenery, patriotism, and adventure. We set sail August 16th through the 23rd. Reserve your cabin today. Text travel to 94878. That's travel to 94878.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
During tax season, your personal info travels to a lot of places you can't control. Between payroll, your home office, your tax preparer, and the IRS, if your W-2 gets exposed, that's just the ticket for identity thieves. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Don't miss In Grace with Pastor Jim Scudder Jr. Now heard on Sunday mornings at 7:30. Tune in and find hope as Jim Scudder explores God's Word and His world each Sunday morning right here on AM 560. The Answer.
AM 560. The Answer.
All right, speaking of travel, somebody wants to travel to Mars. Do you know who that somebody might be?
You asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. You talking to me? I'm talking to you.
Elon Musk, right?
Yes. When he sat down with his BFF, President Trump, on Sean Hannity's show, he talked about where he wants to spend his final resting place.
He's going to go into orbit soon.
Okay. Yeah.
No, he's going to go to Mars. He's
Starlink at some point.
Huh?
Yeah.
Is it
But they was asking like, do you want to die on Mars? And I say, well, yes, but not on impact.
Starlink is in 100 countries. This is going to be hard. I feel like I'm interviewing two brothers here.
You go ahead.
Star Shield, which could be used for national defense.
Yeah, it is already being used for national defense.
I mean, these two are like Thelma and Louise. They're BFFs. You can, feel the love between them.
Yeah, I think it's like having Thomas Edison at your side, or just a brilliant mind right at your side if you're president. Why wouldn't you have that? Why wouldn't you want that? I mean, this guy is the essence of innovation in the early 21st century.
Yep, he's getting it done, saving us millions and billions of dollars, and that's just the beginning. We're only 6 weeks in, Charles, and it's really hard to keep up sometimes. I feel like if I take a nap, I missed another press conference. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of, it's only 6 weeks. We have a little ways to go, even before the first 100 days, where we really can begin to assess what's happened so far. But it's exciting.
Oh, yeah.
It's exciting. There's no doubt about that.
All right. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, why is Trump aligning himself with Russian talking points? We'll start there with our guest. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Chicago City Council rejects a proposal to lower the speed limit. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
A message to Ukraine. Tone it down. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. It's from National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. After Ukraine's leader had said that President Trump is living in a Russian disinformation space after the president blamed Ukraine for starting a war that began with Russia's invasion.
There's obviously a lot of frustration here.
And Waltz tells Fox this morning the U.S. is frustrated. The Ukraine is not willing to make a deal with us, allowing American access to lucrative mineral resources.
And really become a partner in Ukraine's future in a way that's sustainable, but also would be, I think, the best security guarantee they could ever hope for, much more than another pallet of ammunition.
Waltz also says the U.S. is engaging with both Russia and Ukraine trying to end the war. Hamas released more hostages today, but they didn't walk away from Gaza. They're all dead.
The Ministry of Health says the remains have arrived at the Israeli National Center for Forensic Medicine for identification after hundreds of Israelis lined the road to pay their respects to the deceased, holding flags and singing. Crowds cheered on the Gaza side of the exchange as the 4 caskets were carried to the Red Cross.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. It's believed 3 of the 4 are mother and her 2 young children. Senate Republicans plan a vote today to confirm Kash Patel as the new FBI director, overcoming Democrat objections that he's wrong for the job. As President Trump, with the help of the Department of Government Efficiency, slashes spending, more layoffs are coming, targeting federal probationary employees recently hired.
Today, the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, expected to inform thousands of its workers their services no longer needed. There are reports the cuts could impact some 6,000 workers just as tax season gets underway.
Fox's Mark Meredith at the White House. While Democrats challenge Doge and its leader Elon Musk in court as illegal and out of control, Musk is pushing that we send Americans checks, Doge dividends. President Trump says,
I love it. A 20% dividend, so to speak, for the money that we're saving.
America's listening to Fox News.
Partly to mostly sunny this morning. 5 degrees above at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago's default speed limit will remain at 30 miles an hour, coming after a city council meeting yesterday voted down a proposal to lower that speed limit to 25.
We know from every other city that has done this, we'll see fewer crashes, fewer serious injuries, and fewer deaths.
Alderman Daniel Espada argued in favor, but Alderman Chris Taliaferro says lowering speed limits and adding speed cameras usually hits low-income black communities the hardest.
When we put speed cameras in, disproportionately put them in minority communities, particularly in the black community.
City Council also delayed an $830 million borrowing plan favored by Mayor Brandon Johnson, but not by Alderman Bill Conway.
But the proposed debt structure is fiscal insanity and not normal. No payments until 2027, followed by 18 years of interest-only payments.
Governor J.B. Pritzker unveiling his $55.2 billion spending plan during his State of the State address yesterday. Meantime, Pritzker took shots at President Donald Trump, comparing his authoritarian playbook, Pritzker's words, to the Nazi movement.
If you think I'm overreacting and sounding the alarm too soon, consider this. It took the Nazis 1 month, 3 weeks, 2 days, 8 hours, and 40 minutes to dismantle a constitutional republic.
GOP Representative Brad Holbrook was offended by the governor's address.
That rhetoric is out of place and need not to be talked and spoken in the General Assembly. It was completely wrong.
The governor says he didn't call anyone a Nazi. Chicago sports. Bulls are back in action tonight, visiting the Knicks at MSG. Cubs and Dodgers at Camelback Ranch. They open up exhibition play. College hoops last night. DePaul destroyed by number 9 St. John's in the Big East, 82-58. The news, a service of almostfreeteeth.com. What if you can save an average of 90% for dental implants and get 100% of your smile back? With the Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO or FEP, it's possible. Check if you qualify, almostfreeteeth.com. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. It is a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. Now, the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Walmart is reporting a stronger than expected quarter. It's seeing broad-based sales momentum. Its e-commerce business, online shopping, rose 20%, and it confirms it's now attracting higher-end shoppers. Chief Executive Doug McMillon says Walmart is gaining market share and is in great shape with inventory. Chief Financial Officer John David Rainey says in an interview this morning that Walmart will not be completely immune to tariffs. Walmart shares are down 7%. Utz, the potato chip and pretzel maker, made a profit in the holiday quarter. Utz is continuing to see demand for salty snacks. The S&P 500 closed at another record yesterday, though the Federal Reserve's minutes from its Monday meeting suggest inflation could worsen, which is a reason the Fed didn't act on interest rates last month. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola, invested in you.
If you listen to the mainstream media and the Democrats, you'd think it was a sin to be black and conservative. Well, John Anthony blows up that perception every week on Black and Right. Join John this Saturday afternoon at 4 when he pushes back against the left and its regressive, progressive agenda that tries to dictate how people should think or feel about politics. Listen to Black and Right this Saturday afternoon at 4 right here on AM 560. The Answer.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's time to throw out your overpriced big wireless contract. Throw it overboard. You can get an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0 with a qualifying plan of just $45 a month. Get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot. You get all of it. So get your new iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy for $0. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, pound 250, keyword Pure Talk from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
8:08. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And this update is a service of the Chicago Wolves. Join the Wolves for Faith and Fellowship Saturday night at 7 against the Iowa Wild. Stay for the postgame, too, as Wolves forward Josiah Slavin shares stories about his faith. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster.com. The Kennedy, an hour 10, O'Hare to the Burns Circle interchange. Solid traffic on the Stevenson between First Avenue and Kedzie. I-57 and the Bishop Ford are stop and go into the Ryan merge. The Reagan, solid traffic due to an earlier accident westbound between Roosevelt and Cermak, and delays right now in Westmont. An accident at 55th and Williams. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Partly sunny, very cold day today. The high at 22. Clear, frigid night tonight, low 7. Sunny to partly cloudy, cold tomorrow. The high at 26. And then partly to mostly sunny on Saturday. High Saturday at 30. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
5 above at O'Hare, partly sunny skies. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good Thursday morning. Amy Jacobson here. Charles Thomas in for Dan Proft. Always good to have you.
Good morning.
Such a busy day. Our first time working together, and so far so good. So let's keep this party going.
Okay.
Now, yesterday I was a little shocked. I read what President Trump put out on Truth Social, basically aligning with the talking points of Russia, calling Zelensky a dictator and blaming them for this 3-year war with Russia.
You've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal.
I'm not surprised, Amy, at all by any of this.
Really?
What they're calling Putin talking points, I've been hearing that from on the internet for 3 years since all this began. You know, Tulsi Gabbard is one who basically talked the same way 3 years ago. You got Professor John Mearsheimer at the University of Chicago, a noted foreign affairs expert, saying the same thing the president said yesterday. Jeffrey Sachs at Columbia University. Larry Johnson, a former CIA analyst, has been saying this. And Colonel Douglas McGregor, a retired U.S. colonel who worked in the first Trump administration, has been saying the same thing about Zelensky and this whole Ukraine situation for 3 years now. It's the Biden administration's propaganda machine, its talking points that have been so wrong about this and who have cost so many lives in Ukraine, both Russian and Ukrainian lives, and they've been misleading the American public about this conflict in Ukraine.
And how can he's lost millions of dollars that we've given him? How does that happen?
Millions, billions.
Billions of dollars. Real quick, just so you know, Chicago Ukrainians reacted, and of course they say the cost of war is felt by all Ukrainians, whether you live in Chicago or in the homeland.
A friend from my school died last week. And I mean, probably every Ukrainian family has someone who is in the front line.
And most of the people this is from ABC 7-Year-Old Stomping Grounds, most of the people they interviewed said they feel betrayed by Trump.
I think that we need to work together with the United States, because without the United States, it will be extremely tough to continue this war, to fight back.
But sounds like they don't have the support of the United States anymore. With that, let's welcome to the program George Beebe. He's Director of Grand Strategy at the Quincy Institute. He spent more than 2 decades in government as an intelligence analyst, diplomat, and policy advisor, including as Director of the CIA's Russia analysis and a Director of CIA's Open Source Center, and as a staff advisor on Russia Matters to Vice President Cheney. He has a book called The Russian Trap: How Our Shadow War with Russia Could Spiral into Nuclear Catastrophe. Good morning, Mr. Beebe. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yeah, so when you heard Trump align with Russian talking points, so to speak, what was your reaction? Were you surprised? Because my partner Charles here was not.
Well, no, I wasn't surprised. I think part of this is because there has been a long-running information war that has gone on in parallel to the fighting between the Russian and Ukrainian armies on the battlefield. That's been a battle to shape how people understand this conflict, what caused it, and what are the ways out of it. And there are 2 big schools of thought. One we'll call the Nazi Germany school, which says this is a lot like World War II, where Hitler woke up and said, I want other people's land. I want to dominate Europe. I'm going to launch a war of aggression. And the only way you stop that kind of problem is to fight back with resolute military force. And the last thing you do is appease. But that's only one view on this. That's been the dominant view in mainstream media. But a lot of experts have said, wait a minute, this war is a lot more like World War I, an escalation spiral in which defensive steps that one side takes get perceived as threatening by the other side, and you get into an action-reaction dynamic. And the only way you get out of that kind of spiral is through diplomacy, is through compromise. So they're really contending schools of thought here, and Trump has come down in that latter school. He has said that this is an escalation spiral. It's continuing to intensify. If we don't stop this war, if we don't find a way to compromise, it's going to get worse, winding up either in Ukraine's complete destruction or in some World War III kind of scenario. So this is, it's not surprising that Trump is saying the things that he's saying right now.
George, wasn't the CIA involved in the 2014 coup in Ukraine that overthrew the democratically elected president there, who was pro-Russian? And wasn't the Ukrainian army bombing the Russian-speaking areas of Ukraine for years after that coup?
Well, I don't know that the CIA itself was involved in the 2014 Maidan revolution, as they called it. But there's no question that a large group of non-governmental organizations, NGOs, funded heavily by the United States government, played a critical role in that whole scenario. And the perception on Russia's part was that this was a U.S.-backed coup, and that in turn led to this spiral of action and reaction that at first was between Ukrainians in the east and the Donbass and the central Ukrainian government, but eventually exploded into this invasion in 2022. So, Trump's point in all of this was, this was an escalation spiral. It could have been stopped years ago. It should have been stopped through diplomacy, and we're going to do that now.
The Russians were saying that they were defending those who lived in the Russian-speaking areas of eastern Ukraine, and that's why they invaded, to protect those areas from the Ukrainian government, which was increasingly controlled by far right-wing, a.k.a. Nazis, in Ukraine.
Yeah, that is what the Russians have contended happened. I think the reality is probably a little bit more complex than that. Nonetheless, I think you've accurately described the way the Russians perceive things, and they've acted on those perceptions. And the way you solve a situation like that is through diplomacy. You have to talk about how to find your way out of this escalation spiral and how to address misperceptions that can be, as they were in this case, quite deadly.
I want to ask you about Trump's comments yesterday, specifically about Zelensky being a dictator. He wrote, Zelensky admits that half of the money we sent him is missing, all in capitals. He refuses to have elections. Is that true? And that's why he's a dictator?
Well, I suspect that there's a lot going on behind the scenes on this that we're not seeing. We're only seeing the public part of this. And what I suspect has been happening behind the scenes is that Zelensky has attempted to veto a negotiating process with the Russians between Washington and Moscow, and has attempted to coerce the United States into providing a NATO-style Article 5 security guarantee, a pledge that we will go to war with Russia to protect Ukraine in the future. And that's not something that the United States is willing to do. Trump has rejected this, and I think he is sending a clear message to Zelensky that Zelensky cannot torpedo negotiations on this. Will he have a voice in certain aspects of the settlement, aspects that directly involve Ukraine? I think that is absolutely the case. Ukraine has to be involved in that part of it. But this is going to be a negotiation that has sequences. And the first part of this is between Russia and the United States. They're not going to cut a deal about Ukrainian territory, certainly. But they are going to talk about broader strategic relationships, the broader European security architecture, arms control, normalizing our relationship with Russia. That provides a context in which it will be easier to solve the Ukraine-Russia aspects of all of this. That is still to come.
Well, he's not. So Secretary of State Marco Rubio and others are meeting with Russian counterparts in Saudi Arabia, and Zelensky is being kept out of that conversation. Why?
Because it's not yet time. The Russians really think that this is a geopolitical conflict between Russia and the United States. And the United States has been using the NATO alliance and the prospect of moving NATO forces onto Ukrainian territory as a geopolitical threat to essentially either prevent Russia from having security on its borders, or ultimately to foment regime change inside of Russia. And Russia has said, no, this is not acceptable to us. And they want to discuss that bigger issue with Washington. Once that, I think, makes progress, it'll be a lot easier to settle the issues between Russia and Ukraine and all of this. So I don't think Ukraine is being cut out altogether. It's just that the first sequence of this negotiation has got to be between Moscow and Washington.
At all. And there are reports that Zelensky's favorability in his own country, Ukraine, is only about 4%. Do you have any reaction to those claims?
Well, yeah, a couple of points on this. I don't think we know really what Zelensky's public approval rating is. That was news to me when President Trump said it was 4%. I don't know where he's getting that figure. It would not surprise me, though, if he has a fairly low rating. The war is not going well right now for the Ukrainians. A lot of people are dying. A lot of people are objecting to forced military conscription. And dissent and opposition is essentially ruled out in Ukraine right now. So we don't have a very good idea of exactly how the Ukrainian people feel about Zelensky. Now, in terms of having an election, I think that is important for a couple of reasons. One is I think Ukraine's future has got to be in the European Union. And in order to qualify for that membership, Ukraine has got to hold elections. It's got to bring its political system into conformity with EU requirements. And the Russians are also concerned that Zelensky's term of office when he was elected in 2019 has expired. And they worry about signing some sort of peace accord with him that some subsequent Ukrainian leader will say is not legally binding because Zelensky was not actually the legal president at the time. So they want some assurances on that.
Wasn't Joe Biden outright lying when he said that Putin had already lost the war, when in fact the Ukrainians were losing the war and losing it badly when the former president said that?
Well, I wouldn't say he was lying. I think what he was trying to say, which I think was in fact accurate, was that Russia's bid to conquer all of Ukraine, to capture the capital city, to raise the flag of Russia over Kyiv, had failed, and that Russia was not going to be able to accomplish that. That part, I think, is true. Now, can Russia still essentially produce a collapse of the Ukrainian military, sap Ukraine's willingness and ability to continue fighting? That I think they can do. But that, I think, is one of the reasons why we need to have a peace accord soon, so that Russia has to make compromises to settle this war rather than dictate the terms of a settlement.
All right. And if you could look into your crystal ball, how do you see this ending?
Well, I think this is going to end in a peace settlement. And my guess is that we will at least have an armistice, perhaps not a full peace settlement, but a durable end to fighting on the battlefield sometime this year.
And Donald Trump should win the Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, that remains to be seen, but I don't doubt that he sees himself as a peacemaker in this particular war.
Yeah, the one thing, well, how did it, not talk about feelings, but what was your reaction when he said that Zelensky started the war? Because clearly Russia invaded them.
Well, I think that's absolutely right. I am someone that believes this is the product of an escalatory spiral. Both sides contributed to this action-reaction dynamic. And I do fault the United States and to some degree Ukraine for not seeking a compromise before the invasion when I think it was possible. And I wrote at the time urging that. That said, I think Putin and Russia are fully responsible for the decision to invade. They did not have to do that, despite the dynamic that was underway at the time. So I don't think there should be any lack of clarity that Putin made this decision.
All right. Thank you so much, George Beebe. We're going to have to leave it there for today. Director of Grand Strategy at Quincy Institute. And where can we pick up your book? Tell us about your book.
Well, it's available online, certainly through Amazon.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Beebe. We appreciate it, and we'll have you back soon.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Do you hear that?
Hear what?
It sounds like crickets.
Oh, that? Yeah, I brought a big bag of crickets with me.
Why, Ben?
Well, we're talking about the new and improved M100 motorized sectional at Penny Mustard today, right?
Yes.
And just yesterday, I overheard you telling Arvid that the M100 sectional was indescribable.
That's true. Words won't do it justice.
And you told Nicole anyone who reclines in the M100 sectional is flabbergasted.
It's awe-inspiring. If there was a Mount Rushmore of sectionals, the M100 would take all 4 spots.
So to maximize the impact of the M100's ability to cause reverent silence.
You brought crickets?
Yes.
To work?
Of course.
I'm speechless.
Obviously.
The M100 sectional sofa, starting at just $700 a month, with only 1 penny down and no interest until August of 2026, through February 23rd at Penny Mustard.
7 locations throughout Chicagoland.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Wow. Are you buying or are you selling? As this is being written, silver is up more than 50% in just the past 8 months. And gold is the highest it's ever been. Whether you are just getting into the metals, want to roll your IRA into silver or gold, or want to take some profits off the table, Fox Valley Coins is ready, willing, and able to help. Even though Fox Valley Coins is a national dealer, they're family-owned and in your own backyard. Fox Valley Coins in Naperville almost always has the product you want in stock and pretty much always has the best pricing when you buy or sell. Buying or selling is easy. Bring your items in. We'll establish the price and pay you cash or check on the spot. Why wait to move your assets around? Did you know that Fox Valley Coins has sold over 3,000 1-ounce silver Donald Trump coins? We have several designs, but they're going fast. Fox Valley Coins on Route 59 in Naperville. Family-owned integrity since 1981.
In the beginning, God created. Now it's your turn. You're a creator, inspired to design and craft incredible works of art and innovation. But nothing halts inspiration faster than not having the materials you need to bring your vision to life. K&S Precision Metals understands the power of creation. So they provide the materials to help you make your masterpiece. From brass, aluminum, copper, and stainless steel tubing to wire, rod, sheets, and foil, their vast selection of pure, high-quality metals is designed to meet your needs from start to finish. No lead, no fillers. Just materials you can trust to elevate your project. Whether you're a professional or hobbyist, their products are trusted by the medical and movie industries and creators like you, providing high-quality metals to a world of endless possibilities. K&S Precision Metals has been family-owned and operated in Chicago for 78 years. Most orders ship within a day, so you can get back to creating faster. Order directly at ksmetals.com. That's ksmetals.com. Our materials, your creations.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we are going to dramatically, Charles Thomas, switch gears, talk about pop culture and how people are adapting to Trump 2.0. And then later, we went from being deplorables to mini Hitlers. Now we're illiterate. We'll explain, but first, let's stop into that newsroom once again and say hello to Mike Scott.
It's 8:30. Partly sunny skies and 6 degrees. President Trump signing an executive order overnight that eliminates federal funding for undocumented migrants. The order signed also directs federal agencies to ensure no funds are being used to encourage illegal immigration. Hamas is giving Israel back hostages that have died. Giles Gibson reports from the scene that 2 young children are believed to be among the dead.
Hamas says it will hand over the bodies of Shiri Bibas and her 2 infant children, who were just 4 and 9 months old when they were taken hostage in the October 7th attacks. The militant group says they were killed in an Israeli airstrike on Gaza, a claim that's not been confirmed.
The bodies, along with that of a hostage in his 80s, were handed over as part of that ongoing ceasefire deal. Delta Airlines is offering passengers on the plane that flipped over in Toronto $30,000 each. A Delta spokesperson says the money comes with no strings attached. New details are emerging in the rapidly developing bribery case against State Senator Emil Jones III. Documents allege he was dining in 2019 with a clout-heavy red light camera company executive when the executive expressed concerns about a Jones bill. According to court paperwork, that executive, Omar Minai of SafeSpeed, asked Jones, quote, "How much do you want?" End quote. $5,000, Jones allegedly told Minai. Jones also told Minai it would be nice if he could secure a part-time job for one of his legislative interns. Jones is charged with bribery and lying to federal agents. Minai was secretly recording that meeting for the FBI. The Bulls are back in action tonight, visiting the Knicks at Madison Square Garden, while the Cubs open up exhibition play, spring training contest against the Dodgers at Camelback Ranch. College hoops last night, DePaul destroyed by number 9 St. John's. UIC lost to Drake. Tonight, Northwestern aims to avoid a 4th consecutive loss when they visit Ohio State. The news service of the Chicago Wolves joined the Wolves for Faith and Fellowship Saturday night at 7 against the Iowa Wild. Stay for the postgame as Wolves forward Josiah Slavin shares stories about his faith. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Make sure that you never miss a day of Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson when you subscribe to the Chicago's Morning Answer podcast, presented by Signature Bank. Listen to the entire show each day on demand with limited commercial breaks. You can subscribe today for free at 560theanswer.com and click on podcasts or search for Chicago's Morning Answer on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Oil investments involve a high degree of risk and uncertainty and are only suitable for accredited investors. Actual results may vary.
President Trump says drill, baby, drill. And he's declared a national energy emergency and is making the U.S. oil industry a priority with support for more active drilling and support for our hardworking oil and gas industry. If you are an SEC accredited investor and qualified to make at least a $100,000 investment, you can deduct nearly 100% of your investment for this tax year. Don't miss out on this limited time opportunity to create potential income for up to 20 or more years to come. Call 800-278-7455 now and connect directly to Encore Energy. Encore is a major investor and experienced horizontal well operator in its core area of operations. Call Encore Energy now at 800-278-7455 and find out if your investment will be tax deductible for 2025 with the potential for lucrative cash flow for years to come. Call 800-278-7455. That's 800-278-7455.
Hey, buddy. Good to see you back on the golf course. You must be feeling better, huh?
Yeah, I finally got my blood pressure under control without all the medication side effects.
Wow. New doctor?
No, a superfood juice, believe it or not.
A juice?
Yeah, it's called 120 Life. It's got ingredients like pomegranates, tart cherries, 6 natural ingredients that have shown to control blood pressure.
Huh.
Yeah, it tastes great and has worked wonders.
Awesome. Are you getting a golf cart?
Nope. I'm walking the course today.
Wow. You got any of that 120 Life on you?
Try 120 Life risk-free and get a 2-week trial pack. Order the 8-ounce drink or powdered mix. Go to 120life.com and use coupon code 560 to save 15% and get free shipping. They're so sure it can noticeably lower your blood pressure in 2 weeks, they'll give your money back if you're not satisfied. Order now. 120life.com. Use coupon code 560 at checkout to save 15% and get free shipping.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Protecting Your Assets with Steve Shyman. Listen Saturday mornings at 8. Learn more at willsave.com.
8:35, let's check the roads in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. This update is a service of almostfreeteeth.com. What if you could save an average of 90% for dental implants and get 100% of your smile back? Check if you qualify at almostfreeteeth.com. 75 minutes on the inbound Kennedy commute, O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Outbound Eisenhower, there's an overturned vehicle with a left lane block between the Veterans Memorial Toll, that's I-355 and Higgins Road. Stevenson inbound right now, it's an hour 12 from 355 into Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Slowdowns on the Veterans I-355 northbound. You'll hit the brakes at Boughton Road. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast, partly sunny, very cold, and a high of 22. Clear and cold, 7 above overnight. Sunny to partly cloudy and a bit of a warm-up tomorrow, high 26. Currently, sun and 7 at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Miss one of life's most important moments. A graduation, a birthday, a first communion, a wedding. When these moments happen, you want to make sure to capture them so that you and your loved ones can remember them for years to come. For over 30 years, families have relied on Tom Kaloran Photography to capture important life moments. This locally owned family business can provide the solutions you need for your important event photography, from weddings and birthdays to class reunions and golf outings. No matter the size or scope, Tom Kaloran Photography will make sure you have lasting memories to share for years to come. Tom Kaloran Photography is also the official photographer for AM 560 The Answer. To learn more and to see their portfolio, just visit KaloranPhotography.com. That's KILLORAN photography.com. Or call them at 708-361-0025. Tom Kaloran Photography, capturing important life moments for over 30 years.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. The Budget Committee of the House of Representatives has now passed a budget resolution. It now heads to the House's full floor. Some GOP moderates don't like it. Some fiscal hawks don't like it. It is, however, the sorcerer's stone for the House and Senate Republican caucuses. Failure to pass it would be catastrophic for the country and the party. Anyone voting against it can expect a primary challenge in 2026. It's a time for choosing. The stakes are enormous. The critical parts of that campaign agenda are a huge increase in resources to secure the border, detain illegal immigrants, and deport dangerous migrants. Also on that agenda, an increase in defense spending, especially for the Navy and its ship procurement and maintenance outlays. President Donald Trump has made his priorities very clear. Now it's up to the GOP congressional majorities to carry things through. It begins with the budget resolution. I'm Hugh Hewitt.
Do you hear that?
Yeah, I brought a big bag of crickets with me.
Why?
I overheard you say that M100 sectional from Penny Mustard was indescribable.
Words won't do it justice.
It's awe-inspiring.
So to maximize the impact of the M100's ability to cause reverent silence...
You brought crickets?
Yes.
I'm speechless.
Obviously.
The M100 sectional sofa, starting at just $700 a month, with only 1 penny down and no interest until August of 2026, through February 23rd at Penny Mustard.
7 locations throughout Chicagoland.
PennyMustard.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
We're the cool kids now with Trump's election successful. You know, he stormed back to the White House with the second most votes in U.S. history. Did you know that, Charles Thomas?
Yeah, we're the cool kids, but don't go downtown with a Make America Great hat on. Not yet.
I know. Isn't it so sad that we still can't do that and we still whisper? Like some people still quietly come up to you and say, I'm a Republican, or look around and say, I listen to your station. And I'm like, you don't have to whisper. I mean, when are we going to be able to come out of the shadows and, really be one of the cool kids?
Yeah, it's tough, though. It's tough. But, I feel good being on the right side of history.
Good, especially since you started out on the wrong side. Because I used to be a Democrat too, and then I just started, similar to you, really getting to know our Illinois Democratic politicians And I didn't like what I saw, and I didn't like what I heard. And for them, it was never about us. It was always about them.
But, the Democrats used to be anchored. They had their, what I used to call their blue dog Democrats, the ones who kind of kept them, they were center right, but they kept them toward the middle. Those people went away. The 19th Warders in Chicago, those guys, the John Strogers of the world, they kept the party centered. And then when the party let them go, they just went crazy left. And I think they really lost the election on the cultural issues. I really do. I think that's what really broke their back.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So talking about the first family and President Trump, his wife, Melania, First Lady, absolutely strikingly gorgeous. She is silent, but she is strong and stern. She speaks 5 different languages, and she's absolutely gorgeous. And during the first Trump administration, she never donned the cover of Vogue magazine.
How about that?
And she's a fashion model. Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. With more on this.
TDS is a tough deal, man.
I know, but come on. I mean, how can you ignore beauty like that, please? With more on this, let's welcome to the program for the very first time, Aidan McLaughlin. How are you, Aidan? He is editor-in-chief at Mediaite, which I absolutely love your website, so thank you in advance.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and you wrote an article about how the fashion industry is adapting to Trump 2.0. Are they going to adapt and possibly put the First Lady on the cover of Vogue because she so deserves it? I mean, on looks alone, please.
That is precisely the question that I set out to answer when I was writing this story, because I noticed during the inauguration, if you guys noticed this, there was a considerable softening of the way in which the cultural press, I would say, and I'm including fashion magazines and designers in there, the way they talked about and covered the first family. And it was distinct from the first term where Trump.
Do we have you, Aidan? Yeah. We lost Aidan. Okay, let's take a break, and we're going to call Aidan once again and hopefully get this to work.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You never want to miss one of life's most important moments. A graduation, a birthday, a first communion, a wedding. When these moments happen, you want to make sure to capture them so that you and your loved ones can remember them for years to come. For over 30 years, families have relied on Tom Kaloran Photography to capture important life moments. This locally owned family business can provide the solutions you need for your important event photography, from weddings and birthdays to class reunions and golf outings. No matter the size or scope, Tom Kaloran Photography will make sure you have lasting memories to share for years to come. Tom Kaloran Photography is also the official photographer for AM 560 The Answer. To learn more and to see their portfolio, just visit KaloranPhotography.com. That's KILLORAN Photography.com. Or call them at 708-361-0025. Tom Kaloran Photography, capturing important life moments for over 30 years.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, Aidan, let's pick up where we left off. You were talking about the inauguration and how the mainstream media handled her and her fabulous outfit. I thought it was a wide-brimmed hat, obviously, in that austere suit, but I thought she owned it.
Yeah, I think the press, particularly the fashion press, treated her and the first family in general in a far more generous way than they have in years past, particularly in the first term. And when the whole Trump family was kind of treated like they were sort of invading Washington, D.C., that they shouldn't have been there. And most of the press really averted their gaze. Obviously, the political press were all over them. But when it came to fashion magazines, fashion designers, a lot of them either refused to cover them outright or refused to dress them at these major events, which was obviously a huge departure from previous first families, where Vogue would leap at the chance to put Jill Biden on the cover. I think she was on the cover twice. Michelle Obama was on the cover of Vogue, I think 4 times. So typically first ladies are adored by the press, particularly the fashion press. That was never the case with Melania Trump. There is a softening here, I think, just because Trump is no longer considered an aberration. He's actually considered part of the culture, and his resounding win in the last election proves that. The one thing I don't think is going to happen, and from sources that I spoke to for this story, they confirmed that Melania Trump is not going to be on the cover of Vogue anytime soon.
I'm canceling my
Sorry to break it to you.
Well, I mean, the only time people really focused on her fashion is when she wore that jacket. It was a hunter green jacket emblazoned with "I really don't care, do you?" While she was visiting a migrant child detention center. Do we ever know what the meaning behind that was?
She has always maintained that it was inadvertent, that she didn't wear the jacket to the migrant detention center, that she only wore it on the flight down there. I chalk that up to just a rookie error, bad optics. Her advance team probably should have told her to not wear that kind of jacket when she's doing a sensitive tour like that. One thing I would say about the first Trump term compared to now is that they've gotten a lot better at their fashion choices and their style and how they present themselves. Trump in the first term, his style hasn't changed much, but he was known for the big billowy suits, the long red tie that's shiny, the affixed with Scotch tape in the back. There was Sean Spicer's suit in front of the press lectern. It wasn't an administration known for.
Not again.
2 times a charm, Charles Thomas. The third time is you know what. Yeah. All right, Aiden, can you hear us? Oh, wait a minute.
I got you.
There he is.
Okay.
There he is.
So how did you know that Trump held his red tie together with Scotch tape?
There is a photo of it in the wind, and you can see a cross that is Scotch on the back of it. It's a good one. Hey, it works. Can't complain.
Yeah, but he's changed his look now. He doesn't wear the baggy at the ankle pants anymore. I think he's changed his look to be a little more sophisticated, and it looks like he's lost weight.
Yes, yeah, I agree. And it's funny though. One of the sources that I spoke to, who works at a leading fashion magazine in New York, and they certainly agreed with the premise that the Trumps are more part of the culture now, and that the fashion industry should start paying attention to them a little bit more. The one point that they made that I think has some sense to it is that our big fears in the fashion media world, especially, that Trump is too unpredictable to put on a cover. And the same thing goes with Melania Trump. And the example that they used is, could you imagine if, let's say, a month before the January 6th riot, Vogue had put Melania Trump on the cover? That their global Melania Trump is done when some disaster happens. And
why would ABC, Disney?
Can you hear him, Charles?
Yeah, I had a question for Aiden, a more general question about media. Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Okay.
How does a network like my former employer, ABC, fix itself when it still has programs like The View and Jimmy Kimmel on every day? Any thoughts on how they can fix themselves?
I mean, the View has tried over the years to balance out its talent and make sure that it has at least one host on the show that is ostensibly conservative. The issue over the last couple of years is that as Trump has taken over the Republican Party, they have long refused to put someone in that seat who actually supports Trump. And obviously, Alyssa Farah Griffin is the current person in that seat. And I think they were smart to put someone in there who actually worked in the Trump administration. But she's obviously no fan of Trump now.
No,
I think it's going
an
to be very, very
anti-Trumper.
hard.
She's the worst.
Right. And so I think it's going to be very hard for a network like ABC to ever be able to balance itself out, at least on its talk shows and its entertainment shows, to the point where they're actually having people that support Trump in those seats. I think they can stomach a conservative. They can stomach, Anna Navarro, if we can even call her a conservative. But I don't think they're ever going to put someone in that seat. And I don't think Jimmy Kimmel's ever going to have someone on his show that actually genuinely supports Trump.
But how could you be a mass media company and you write off more than half the voting public? They're not going to watch you. They're going to resent you. They're going to hate you, and you're still going to stay in business.
Wow. I mean, this is the problem: is that these media companies are focused on an increasingly smaller part of America. And that was the original value proposition of Fox News, that you'd have a network that would speak for the 50% of America that doesn't have a single media outlet that works for them. And and there's plenty of examples in radio as well. I think that these networks are currently focused on survival, and they understand that they're never going to be able to get Trump supporters to tune in again. That I think they see that bond as broken. They can try and go for independence, but that's pretty much all they've got at this point.
What they should do is, have President Trump on, because he'd go on The View, even after all they've made the disparaging remarks for the last years. But he would do it because he likes a challenge and he does not hide.
That would be a Super Bowl of media, man. That would
right. So their producers, if they want to, sink or swim, they should reach out to him and say, "Come on."
I'd watch.
Yeah, you could have Joy Behar's head explode on live TV. It would be great. But what about counter programming? So you could have The View, and then you could have the conservative view after The View. Wouldn't that work?
Yeah, I mean, I like that idea. It's a good programming idea. I'd be surprised. I mean, could you imagine the viewers that settle into The View every day having to sit there and watch the first 5 minutes of the conservative view?
Well, it'd only be a 5-minute show, okay? Let's not go crazy with 4 segments. We'd just have an A block, and then it would be over. So.
Yep.
All right, so you really don't think there's any hope at all of Melania, who's an actual model, getting on the front cover of Vogue magazine?
So the sources that I spoke to said it's just not going to happen for a couple of reasons. One, Anna Wintour and the people that run Vogue and the people that run Condé Nast still think Trump is extreme and bad for the country. So they don't want to touch the first family. Melania Trump's merits aside, she's still the wife of the president of the United States that they consider toxic. And on top of that,
woman.
Yeah, but who actually?
Right, she is.
Who actually subscribes to the hard copy issue of Vogue anymore?
Oh, it's
really.
If you go into beauty shops, I know you don't see them, or nail salons. Vogue is always there.
Really.
What about Ivanka Trump or the second lady? She's gorgeous. J.D. Vance's wife. Why am I blanking on her name? USA. Yeah. USA. Are you there, Aiden? Well,
sorry, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you. What do you want to say about the second lady?
I think that they both have a better chance than Melania because there's a little bit of distance between them and the president. Ivanka Trump obviously is not really involved in politics anymore. Usha Vance, I think it depends on how JD is perceived. But one thing I do want to point out is Vogue wants to sell magazines. And I think there is a consideration that Vogue's audience will not buy a Vogue magazine if Trump is on the cover. And you might get, you might juice sales in Red America, which I'm sure they'd like. But they're thinking about the long-term health of the brand. If they do that, at least half their audience is just going to turn around and say, "This is unacceptable. We're never going Vogue again." I think you'd get a serious bull. Why it's just never going to happen.
All right, Aiden McLaughlin, thank you so much for joining us. Editor-in-Chief of Mediaite, and his column is How the Fashion Industry is Adapting to Trump 2.0. Aiden, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer. Are you an administrator, staff member, or parent volunteer at a private school? Would you like to grow your current enrollment and welcome new families to your school? If so, we want to tell you about a great opportunity to help increase enrollment and promote your school to families all across Chicagoland. It's called ChicagolandSchoolVouchers.com. They work to connect private schools with new families who are looking for discounted first-year tuition. In exchange, your school will receive a marketing campaign to help grow your enrollment. Chicagoland School Vouchers does all the work to bring new families together with your school and help you expand your reach. They've been working with schools across Chicagoland for over a decade. As the demand for school choice grows here in Illinois, your private school needs to take advantage of this program. To learn more, just visit ChicagolandSchoolVouchers.com. That's ChicagolandSchoolVouchers.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Paul Jenkins, owner of Bancroft Architects and Engineers, a service-disabled veteran-owned small business providing design solutions for clients, including the VA. When looking for a trusted banking partner, Bancroft was lucky to find that partner in Signature Bank in 2015. With Signature, personal service goes beyond a login and a PIN number. My staff and I have the comfort of knowing that we're dealing with real people who know our business and care about us as individuals. Signature helped finance our new state-of-the-art facility, and Bancroft looks forward to further expanding business opportunities for disabled veterans and historically disadvantaged communities.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, Charles.
Hey, had a great time, Amy. Great time.
You're the best, and we have so much more to discuss, which I'm sure we will when you fill in again.
Hey, but you guys keep up the good work. I mean, you know, you're winning, and you're very gracious winners. And, you know,
we're
I'm
not
proud
taking
of
L's, Charles.
So proud of you.
Oh, you're the best. Love you to pieces. Thank you so much to Justin Kosick, our technical producer, and Quinn McCarthy, our executive director, whatever, producer, whatever. He's the king, man. That's all you need to know. Now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Chicago City Council rejects a proposal to lower the speed limit in the city. A student charged for bringing a gun to a junior high in the suburbs. Bulls take on the Knicks tonight, and the Cubs face the Dodgers at Camelback Ranch.